afternoon, whenever you're listening to this, welcome to the internet's most sophisticated wrestling podcast, discussing the weekly aspects of it all, right here on
The Bald Monkeys Wrestling Podcast.
You're coming out of it right there, Christopher.
God, I feel like you're so old, Chris. The way that you do Twitch, the way that you add Twitch, you get so excited about like little things like, oh, I've got a tomato. We could throw a tomato. Why am I not recording? Let me record this stuff.
One of my favorite things about doing this, especially when Chris wears the hat with the headphones, is up in the little pictures of the four of us, he totally looks like Vanilla Ice.
Oh. I like it. So,
Ice, baby.
Soul patch and everything.
Welcome, everybody, to the Bald Monkeys Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast for talking about the greatest topics. And today we want to talk about a wonderful pay-per-view.
Are we supposed to
How's
get
everybody
that
doing?
close to our mic?
It helps sometimes.
Is this like the shorty balls?
Delicious dish.
No. So before we get on track here, I've relocated. I'm going off track before we get on track. I've relocated my desk, and about 30 minutes ago, I hadn't relocated my desk, and I was sitting there watching GCW with Christopher, and he was like, you should just do it right now while you have the time. And I'm like, somehow he convinced me that was a good idea.
That's all I said.
I was wearing a Randy Orton shirt. Now, it's not important that I was wearing a Randy Orton shirt. It's just like, well, it's the first wrestling shirt I grabbed. I'm good. I'm good to go. You know why I'm wearing a Bald Monkey shirt right now? Because
Would you say you
self-promotion.
nowhere?
Oh,
yeah,
out of
there you go.
nowhere.
Yep, I pulled it out. It came out of nowhere, and then I put it on. But no, so it's not self-promotion. I mean, but hey, merch, Bald Monkeys merch.
Merchandise.
Merchandising.
Merchandise.
I got a blue shirt on it.
But that being said,
merchandise.
the reason I had to put this shirt on is because I was sweating so badly that I had to emergency go downstairs and try to get myself to stop sweating, so I wasn't just pouring sweat on this podcast.
That would have been awesome.
Aren't you in your own house that's air conditioned?
Yeah, but I've got one of those every house looks the same neighborhoods where you have a 2-story house and the AC on the second floor doesn't really work that well, and it's just a little bit too hot upstairs most of the time.
And you're fat.
Hey, easy now.
Listen, all I gotta say, Chris, is come wintertime, me and Chuck sitting in the house all comfortable, you're not gonna be comfortable.
To be honest, Jimmy, I still sweat in the winter. It kind of sucks.
I do too. I get it.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
Is Vanilla Ice really that cold in the winter?
Why do I look like Vanilla Ice? Where are these Vanilla Ice? Like what?
In this little square up here, you look like Vanilla Ice to me.
Maybe if you're like an 85-year-old woman with cataracts.
Do I look like Vanilla Ice?
No.
Have you guys seen Vanilla Ice recently?
No, I don't actively go out and look.
Oh,
hold on. Let me get
the chat apparently says yes. I look like Vanilla Ice. So there you go. So I look like Vanilla Ice.
So before we get into this pay-per-view, let's talk about 2 pay-per-views that some of us watched this weekend. One, which I believe is going to be considered the best pay-per-view of the year by lots of hardcore wrestling fans. And that is Talkin' Shop-A-Mania. It was incredible.
It was a car crash. It was
a purposeful car crash.
Yeah, it was their way of purposely making fun of everything they had to deal with over the last X amount of years with WWE, and it was brilliant. It was nonstop. Jimmy and I watched, and we had to mute ourselves from time to time because of how
laughing too
hard
much.
we were laughing. So, I mean, well done. I can't wait for the next one. That's all I'm going to say. Bravo.
Yeah, they said something about doing another one, and I think they're going to have a reason to do it because I think it was a hit, and there was lots of wrestlers that were watching it, and then they were pushing it quite a bit. I mean, I think even Randy Orton,
Oh, man.
he messaged about it. He was like, I heard
Randy-
there's really
Dolph Ziggler and somebody else was pushing it really hard.
and deservingly so. I mean, it was ridiculous. Like, just a spot that I'll bring up. Like, they have a Royal Rumble type match, and
It
they
wasn't
have
royal.
this wrestler. They have this. It was called it's like the social distance royal or whatever, and they have this guy named Freight Train Jones moving the speed of slow, just walking out to the ring. He can barely get into the ring. And then he proceeds to throw about half of the people out of the ring, but they all like look at him and then they're going to charge him. And he just like grabs them barely and just tosses them out and does this like 6 times in a row. It was wonderful.
It was
And
ridiculous.
and my favorite spot of the night, they had maybe the worst hardcore match of all time, but it goes into a house and they bust into a room and there's Brian Myers playing with wrestling action figures with 2 kids on the floor.
Oh, my.
Amazing. Just an absolute amazing spot because for those of you who don't know, him and Matt Cordona, they have a podcast about wrestling action figures. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
It's worth the
wonderful.
It's worth $15, and you get to own it
$15.
forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
The other one that we watched was GCW, and that was just finished right before we started this.
Yeah.
So we were trying to crush that as good as we could, and it was I don't know, it was all right. Some of those
They're
guys
fun.
are crazy.
They're fun. Let's put it that way. They put on a really fun show. I think there was 3 matches that stand out to me. If anybody goes back and watches the Scramble, I thought had some good spots in it. I think Blake Christian and Trey Lamar, I think they were trying their damnedest to do something amazing, and it was almost there. But I think Deppen and James, remind me who fought Deppen, but it was like I forgot his name.
ACH?
No, ACH was against Janela, but
that's right.
Deppen is referenced as the gatekeeper in GCW. He tends to fight a lot of new guys. He does a lot of opening matches, and it was a great opener. I think that was probably the best match of the show.
Yeah, it was
Worth
a
it.
solid. It was a solid show all around. And hey, the one thing is like they're in Indianapolis, like they're in like a park, right? And there are a few fans spread out here and there, and it's hard not to just be jealous. Like, oh my gosh, I want to go to a wrestling show.
So
I
bad.
want to see wrestling in front of my eyeballs.
Yeah.
And see some of these crazy stunts that these people are doing. And I know we're preaching to the choir. I know everybody that listens to all these wrestling podcasts, they want to do that, but that's not important. What is important is, well, actually, but I will go back and reference GCW because I believe GCW is kind of like the redo of the thing that we're talking about today, which is ECW. And in particular, we're talking about the pay-per-view ECW Heatwave 1998. So as per usual, give me 1 to 3 words on what you thought about ECW Heatwave 1998. I will start with Steven. Da Boss.
Oh man, entertaining.
Oh man, entertaining.
That's
It
it.
works. Cool. I like it. Chuckles.
Absolute frickin' carnage.
Absolute frickin' carnage, as we expect from ECW, I'm sure. Christopher.
I wish I skipped. Oh wait, that's too many.
No.
It's got to be something like that, though. It definitely ain't my style.
Yeah. There you go.
It was just. It
missed the mark.
I'm gonna go with car crash just because I think it fits it. I think it was a car crash.
Sure. And the 3 words I would go for is like after the peak. And what I mean by that is like there are so many moments like, and when it comes to ECW, like I know there are some iconic moments in ECW and there are iconic moments that happened afterwards, but like specifically, I would look at this pay-per-view as being, for me personally, after many of the iconic spots that I enjoy the most, because I remember watching early ECW when like Sabu first comes into the picture, and like his first match, you can find it on WWE Network too. Like his first match is against Taz, and like they wheel him out with like Silence of the Lambs type. Yeah. And that match is killer. It's wonderful. But like, when we look at the quality of the taping and the production and stuff like that, it's god awful. It's god awful. But ECW definitely had something going for it. And
this was the height, right? Let's set the stage a little bit for where we're at in wrestling history. We're at 1998. ECW is one of the hottest things going. There's a huge brawl going on between WWE, WCW, and ECW is interjecting themselves right in between it and basically calling them out on every chance they get. And Bischoff is basically sticking his middle finger up. I'm sorry, not Bischoff. Heyman is sticking his middle finger up to both Bischoff and Vince McMahon. So I think this moment in ECW history is probably one of their bigger memories and better memories because it goes down as one of the more popular pay-per-views that they've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the crowd was amazing.
Lit.
Like out of this world crowd.
Here's the issue with ECW, right? When you have a wrestling program that is day in, day out, just off the rails, how do you actually deliver a halfway decent pay-per-view compared to the bigger product?
See, I don't think they had to. They didn't have to. And that and like in talking with Chris briefly about him enjoying it, but it just not it not being where he wanted it to be, I was like, no. I'm like, this is exactly what ECW was, what ECW did, and it fit perfectly. And like, yeah, that was 1998. It's 2020 right now. You might not remember all the stuff that led up to it, but like we always talk about, like interconnecting storylines.
Yeah,
it definitely had that leading up to it, and going after it into their November pay-per-view. Like it had all of that. So it was typical ECW, which was just crazy. And it fit. It fit.
It's tough. Well, but what's tough for me is I remember being a kid at that time and I wasn't watching ECW. I was watching. I wasn't watching it late night.
Really?
The ECW came in. I watched ECW backwards. I watched it when it was over. I watched it when it came in, it got folded in, and I went back and watched ECW and appreciated it at that point. So at this time,
I think a lot of people did it that way too.
Yeah, at this time, I'm watching the main 2 shows. And I'm literally doing what I'm doing today on Wednesday nights. I'm flipping back and forth depending on commercials or what I want to watch. What if I'm entertained or not? So ECW wasn't even in the equation for me. So I think that's why going back and watching now, was it crazy? Yes. Was it fun? Sure. Could I feel myself getting into it though? Like getting into the storylines or being enthralled by what was going. I was just kind of like, it looks like a fun time. It would be a blast if I was there. But watching it on TV back now, I was just kind of like, meh.
I think Heyman has always understood the audience, though. In
Oh,
particular,
Oh, yeah.
he's always understood, and you could see it too. Like, how many jokes do we always make about just like the wrestling fan base in general? And we're definitely folded into that. We have plenty of a wrestling fan look. But did you look at the crowd in that pay-per-view? That was a wrestling crowd. And I mean that for all the good and all the not quite so good things
Typical.
about that crowd. But as we go into this first match, it's like, and even like the first two matches, the one thing that I want everybody to really think about is how they use women in like Attitude Era, like pay-per-views and ECW just in general. I mean, I guess in general, just in the Attitude Era, they were using them a certain way. And even going into the Ruthless Aggression Era in WWE, they used women, in a very particular way. I'm not saying that it's always a pretty thing. And I think nowadays some people would look back on it and maybe consider it barbaric, but you can't argue the fact that it worked. So here we go into our first. Now, little disclaimer here. We all watch this through the WWE Network because that's the easiest way for us to watch it. There is a pre-show match that is not on the WWE Network.
Which I was annoyed by going back and looking because I realized that. I was like, oh, we missed the match. So.
Yeah, and that was probably, because I can't remember this. I'm like you. I watched this stuff like back forever ago. So most of my watching of ECW has been like binging on it through the WWE Network or the random video or DVD I ran across when I was a kid. I mean, heck, my parents, I shouldn't say my parents, my mother in particular, definitely didn't want me watching wrestling during a certain time frame. And ECW, we're talking like, I mean, everybody who thinks The Rock is bad. I mean, The Rock was crazy back in the Attitude Era. I mean, the stuff that he would say, I mean, all it would take was my mom hearing one of those things and be like, yeah, you're never, ever watching wrestling again. Because the innuendo was like crazy. But ECW, they just took that to the extreme, I mean, yeah.
Pun intended.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So here we are. The first match that we get to see is Just Incredible versus Jerry Lynn. And Just Incredible.
Hey, whoa.
What are we waiting for?
You totally missed a certain someone walking out with the ECW champion. I mean, if that wasn't like...
I forgot. I talk about two spots, and actually there's three.
Yeah.
But anyway. So that's our first opening. Our opening, we got Joey Styles sitting in the ring, and you know what? God bless Joey Styles. I miss Joey Styles. I really like Joey Styles a lot. I think he is one of my favorite announcers. Although, for as many as I hate, there's so many that I love too. It's interesting when I think about that. It really is. There's not many that get lost in the middle to me. You either have it or you don't, and when you don't, I hate you, and when you have it, I love you. But so Joey Styles, and here comes Shane Douglas, and you guys will have to remind me of her name. I cannot remember her name as she comes out.
Francine.
Yeah, Francine. So here comes Francine.
Wearing very little.
Nothing.
Wearing
like see-through, like long nightgown. Ay. Man, if No Way Out had an opening, I mean, wow.
Yeah,
Good
No Way
grief.
Out. It was just two women dressed a little scantily clad, and
Yeah.
saying some, things that have a little innuendo to them. Yeah, she wasn't wearing much.
No.
And again, this is how Paul Heyman understands his audience. This
Mhm.
is how he understands, like, you look at the crowd, there's not many women to be seen. And now that has changed. That has changed nowadays. And with the like women's revolution and with, the independent scene and women being so much better at wrestling than back, because
Yes.
back then it was like, let's find a pretty face and we'll have her try to wrestle. Now it's
Mhm.
we have wrestlers.
Yeah.
Women
exactly.
wrestlers. So there's a lot more women who watch wrestling nowadays for sure than from back then. Because back then there wasn't any, real women's wrestling to watch. There were some crazy moments, especially in ECW. Beulah, I mean, years before this, or maybe not years, but like earlier than this, has a crazy match. Yeah, intergender match. And so they were still wrestling, but let's be honest, most of the women in wrestling at this point are there for the looks.
Mhm.
So
Just gonna-
Yep.
yes. We're just gonna keep going.
making me laugh at chat. But so here they come, and Shane Douglas is basically going to be an announcer for the rest of the night, and
Yep.
I think he does pretty darn good.
He did
I
a good
think
job.
Shane, and I love him throughout the course of the pay-per-view, screaming at the refs, and again, it's like, it's not very clean entertainment. I mean, there's plenty of cursing and there's plenty of crazy stuff going on.
I mean, back
kind of the nature of
then,
the beast.
yeah, back
Yeah,
then, there's cursing.
And it's pay-per-view.
And it's
Yeah.
pay-per-view.
That's something that pushes it along. And it's ECW, so they're pushing the edge.
Yeah, there was more cursing in a 5-minute segment over either one of these pay-per-views over the weekend than there was in that entire show back then. So
Oh my goodness gracious, you ain't joking about that. And there was, as much as they cursed in GCW, holy goodness gracious, Talk Shop Mania.
a lot more.
I mean,
A lot more. So
Can I quote something from Talk Shop Mania? Look at that huge dick.
Well, there
You go.
My virgin ears.
Watch Talk Shop Mania. You like my Pizza Hut cup? Thank you. I appreciate it.
Nice.
So first match we've got not Lance Storm, Justin Credible versus Jerry Lynn. Now, from an ECW standpoint, who's more iconic? I mean, there's a handful of people that are very iconic of ECW. And I would argue that Jerry Lynn is one of those people, specifically
Definitely.
because of the matches that he was having with, guys like RVD and stuff like that. Those are some of the more iconic matches because those two, they meshed so well with each other. But just generally speaking, he's just an excellent wrestler. And he's coming into this match with a storyline going with Justin Credible, and this is kind of like the match that is going to end it all.
Mhm.
Like whoever wins,
The end of the summer series.
And who's Jerry Lynn come out with? He comes out with nobody. He's by himself. But Justin Credible, he's got himself a full crew coming out
Posse.
here.
He's got a posse with him.
He's got Jason. That's his name. Jason.
Jason. It was Jason.
Nicole Bass.
Yeah.
And Chastity, which
Yep.
Chastity, of course, you look at her, great name. Paul Heyman knows his audience again. Very trashy, disheveled looking woman, obviously playing to the,
I wrote something down. I wrote something down. I
Oh
wrote.
gosh, here we go.
Chris
I
is grabbing
Probably
his
about
notes.
Nicole Bass. Probably about Nicole Bass.
it is about Nicole Bass. So Joey Styles is great, right? He knows exactly how to throw a punch, basically, and he was taking like cheap shots left and right at WWE.
Mhm.
And the two shots I remember from, I'm pretty sure the beginning, right in the first match, was Nicole Bass being bigger than China and from somewhere from Russia. I think that was the
Yeah.
the quote. And then this is not an entertainment. This is wrestling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right away.
Right out the gate, he was like, and it was interesting to me because I'm thinking back and I'm like, man, they were just going at WWE like right out of the gate, like not pulling a punch at all.
But if you think about it, though, how has the wrestling environment today, and we are all active on Twitter, so I dare to say this, as positive of a community as some of the community is, how have we actually changed very much since then?
We
There
haven't.
were still those ECW fans,
Oh,
those
man.
ECW fans were like,
Die
screw
hard.
WWE, screw WCW, we're ECW.
Mhm.
How is that any different from the people that watch AEW right now? I mean, that's what AEW fans are doing every single day, and I don't fret
Mhm.
them for it. I mean, I again, I think their like rabid fandom is what helps, keep AEW fresh and keep it in the spotlight for sure.
Mhm.
I mean, to me, watching that pay-per-view, and I kind of want to go back and watch other 1998 pay-per-views now of the other promotions.
Yeah, right.
Just watching that, I want people to be like, this is not new. The, little jabs left and right that promotions are taking at each other has been going on since day one of wrestling.
Mhm.
You could probably go back to, the Mid-South wrestling, and,
Victorian.
like old school wrestling, and there's always shots going to be taken. It's part of it. And let's throw back to yesterday in the pay-per-view, Talk Shopomania. At the beginning of the show, it's all in fun. Like, a lot of these guys do the shots because it's a cheap pop. Everyone's gonna pop when Joey Styles starts talking about, bigger than China and not entertainment. So why not? I mean, everybody's gonna pop when Cody keeps sitting there and going like this.
Yeah.
It's part of the industry. The idea that we sit here and we're gonna pretend that this is new and that these people are awful people for what they're doing, and how dare you say something bad about WWE? How dare you say something bad about AEW or Impact or guys?
But it's always going to be there, and
It's just
like
wrestling.
it's so nice now that some of that stuff has come back, because for a long time, I mean, it was WWE, and that, yeah, you had Ring of Honor was there, and TNA and Impact was there, but it wasn't, it's not the same level that it is now. I feel like
Like
now
it's back
you
up.
have, yeah, now you have two promotions that are fairly popular, that are high on people's watch lists. You have one in Impact that's on the rise. Now you hear a lot more of those jabs, and it's so nice to hear, because those are the things that you loved watching. That's what I loved watching as a kid, was watching WCW and have them reference WWE, and then watching WWE and have them reference WCW, and ECW, having them reference both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, getting those little jabs in here and there is what makes these things interesting sometimes, because when you're on the top of the pyramid and there's no one near you, I mean,
It's boring.
yeah, it's a whole lot of the same old
There-
stuff.
There's nothing for us to argue about.
Yeah, yeah,
We
it's
don't
true.
we don't know what to do if there's nothing to argue about.
But exactly like Jimmy said, what really has changed? It's just the promotions have changed, the times have changed, and some of the people have changed.
What?
That's about it.
I think the product's different though. Don't you think the product's different now too? Like we talk about how
Well, I
women
think,
were being utilized in the product back then, and
and I would tie that into the times have changed.
Hmm.
I would tie that into that. But yeah, the woman, the woman, the female side of it is 180% different than 1998.
So, back to the match itself. Now that we went on that rabbit hole, what'd y'all think of the match?
I thought it was the best match I saw the whole time.
I thought it was good. I thought Justin Credible did some really, really good stuff while he was in ECW. And I think it's forgotten when you look at his whole career, because I think some people don't even realize that he was in ECW. Like when you think about it.
See,
A lot of people only know him because of ECW. Because
I think it's the other way. And I would make that argument about Jerry Lynn and less about Justin Credible.
Jerry Lynn deserved a lot more than he got from the bigger promotions. That man was a workhorse everywhere, as long as you gave him a shot. Oh man, if you ever get a chance, go back, search him on YouTube, just watch anything he's been in, and I don't know if I've seen a match he's been in that hasn't been great, because he keeps it going. He's competitive. His moveset felt like it expanded every couple months anyway to add different things in. He really fed off who he was with. His stuff with RVD was amazing. So it just, Jerry Lynn was amazing.
Yeah, Jerry.
Jimmy? I was gonna say I think it was easily the best match of the night. I think it's easy for the quote unquote hardcore ECW fans to overlook certain matches because they have some of the more iconic ECW stars in them. But did those matches really deliver? I don't think so. And I think it's interesting that if we reviewed this pay-per-view as ECW fans in 1998, I bet you we would have looked at it very differently than we do today. Today, we look at a guy like Jerry Lynn and we're giving him all the credit. I think that's why we all, have that opinion of him. And quite frankly, it's while it didn't get paid off as him as a wrestler, I mean, he is working hand in hand with AEW now, right? So, he's in the back, and it's a perfect place for him at this point in his career. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
And that there were two spots that I was like, holy shit. One was the Hurricanrana off the top through the table, and the other one was the tombstone off the top rope.
Oh my god, the tombstone off the top rope was wild.
I cringed because I was like, oh my god, how did someone not break their neck like doing that?
I think that's why I couldn't get into the whole pay-per-view. I feel like that first match was the main event. Like the spots in that match, the flow of it, there was so many different things going on. There was interference. The crowd was way into it. They were way up right from the beginning.
Nicole Bass got a crotch shot.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting. Again, a little bit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely wouldn't fly in wrestling today, probably, but very entertaining. And yes, I'm pretty sure. Again, Paul Heyman understands his audience.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd went wild for that.
Yeah.
But that's always been the criticism about the crowd, though, right? Is that ECW crowds are a bunch of sexist, bloodthirsty wrestling fans.
Correct.
And I would say that it's somewhat accurate. It's not totally accurate. I'm not saying people that love ECW. I love ECW. I don't consider myself to be very sexist. I don't consider myself to be
no, you're not very sexy,
bloodthirsty. But it doesn't change the fact that I enjoy when they're paced out enough. I love a good hardcore match. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But this is all hardcore. So right out the gate, we're hardcore, and we continue to stay hardcore throughout the night.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a table spot in every match? I feel like.
I don't remember one in the Candido match.
No, I don't remember that one either. I do know that, I guess, hey, we're transitioning to the second match, everybody. Chris Candido with Tammy Lynn Sitch
Sonny.
against Lance Storm. Well, and then Tammy Lynn though, but I love the name Tammy Lynn. I just think it's funny. I think it fit the character that she was trying to play. Again, we're stereotyping a little bit, but I mean, it's wrestling. That's what I think is great about wrestling, is that you can stereotype and that you can use all these things that we wouldn't deem appropriate, but it's okay. It's fictional. It's wrestling. It's all right. It's for entertainment purposes. And if you really hate that gimmick because of that gimmick, maybe that gimmick's actually working.
Yeah. We were given praise to Jerry Lynn about how underrated he was to his career. I have to say, the most underrated person I think out of all the history of me watching wrestling is Lance Storm. He deserves so much more he went to the dungeon, and growing up in the industry with Jericho, I believe if he would have got the same kind of push Jericho would have been, he would be a bigger star than Jericho is now. Had all the movability, he was athletic, he could be a monster heel, he could lead a faction, he was the complete package and never given a shot more than just mid-card, and it's very upsetting. And
that being said, this match for me was a little stale. And I felt like it was a two-spot match. One actually being a legitimate spot that ended the match, and one being the
wardrobe malfunction.
The wardrobe malfunction spot.
I feel like with the outcome of the match, there was a lot of missed spots in the match. A lot of it you could tell a move would be done and somebody wouldn't react properly, and it's like their chemistry wasn't as good as they wanted to be for a pay-per-view, especially for how they could have been. Who knows? But it was very, very flat by the end of it. Very upsetting.
3 segments so far on the pay-per-view. There's a female in every single segment.
But it's again, it's using females. Minus the last match, because the last match they do use Nicole Bass, and they're not trying to sexualize Nicole Bass. They're
Chastity's there too.
Yeah, well, but I don't even know that they're trying to sexualize Chastity. I mean, yes, they're women, they're coming out, but the biggest spot that they had with a woman in the Just Incredible Jerry Lynn match is probably Nicole Bass getting a low blow.
But they're part of the formula.
Sure.
Throughout the night, they're part of the formula until you get a little bit deeper into the show.
Well, once you start getting to your
main card.
your main card A-lister guys that maybe don't need it. So the question is, are they using the women to boost up characters that maybe aren't quite as compelling to the crowd?
But I don't know, because I don't feel like the first couple matches needed it. The first matches had great wrestlers who were willing to do just about anything.
Yeah, but does 1998 ECW crowd, do they appreciate those wrestlers' characters? So that's probably it.
What they didn't know they had.
Do we care about Lance Storm and Chris Candido? I mean, I know we do.
I mean, if you put that in front of me now, those two in their prime, I mean, that's a stellar match.
Yeah.
And again, it's a different product right now. We appreciate wrestling a different way.
Well, see, but I always have this ongoing argument, and I'm not saying that I'm arguing with you guys about it, but I always argue this point that women's wrestling, it doesn't need to go to either extreme. So the critics, the hardcore critics, were always talking about, well, it's all in the one extreme. It's all just beautiful women that don't necessarily know how to wrestle, and they're not doing any wrestling. And then it goes to the other extreme of, we need to make sure that women's wrestlers are wrestling and being competitive and they're taken seriously. And my argument has always been, let them do what they want to do with their character. Like, so if somebody gets into wrestling, well, yes, we expect them to be a halfway decent wrestler nowadays. Absolutely. But if that person wants to use their sex appeal as part of their character, a la Mandy Rose or somebody like that, then I think that that's a good thing. And I actually found that character of the Mandy Rose character to be quite refreshing because she was doing that, because she was coming out and being like, you know, oh yeah, I'm hot and I know it, and you know, you should know it too, type of a deal. I think that is a refreshing thing versus a lot of them that all come out like the you need to take me seriously because I am a really, really good wrestler and I just want to be viewed as a really, really good wrestler, which I think is important, but not necessary.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the product that I was arguing though. I'm more arguing for the idea that today we appreciate wrestling and the skill of wrestling a lot more as fans than I think we did back then as fans, where we were looking for more of the entertainment portion of it. The joke was, this is not entertainment, this is wrestling. To me, no, it actually was entertainment back then. But there was really good wrestling layered into it, but that's not what the crowd was looking for. The crowd was looking for blood, guts, chair
Tables,
shots,
chairs,
women.
ladders, barbed wire, 2x4s, whatever.
But today, yeah, I mean, Jimmy, I know you love that stuff. But at the same time, we appreciate really good athletic wrestling.
Yeah, but I think the one thing that Talking Shop-a-Mania reminded us about. Yeah, I saw.
No, come on, you have to say that
I'll
on
say,
Cave of the Chat.
okay, yes, I have, someone coming to my defense and saying, if Fandango or Angel Garza can't exist, there can be sexy women wrestlers. Because yeah, Angel
Great argument.
Garza, he's definitely part of his MO. You know, he's good looking. He wants to look at himself in the mirror. You know, Fandango and Tyler Breeze, those guys are like all about the looks and the goofiness, and that is good. Again, those are all perfect examples of what is good in wrestling that they don't always take advantage of enough.
Yeah.
Because again, when we look at Talking Shop-a-Mania compared to wrestling nowadays, compared to ECW, like we're comparing everything together, we go too far into the extreme. It's all wrestling first, which is good, but when you push too much wrestling first, and then you have these networks like Fox and stuff that are like, well, we want you to present WWE like it is like actual fights, and we want it pushed as a sport. Well, okay, well, nobody's gonna watch it because it's gonna be boring if all you do is push like, a bunch of just good wrestling matches with no story and no humor layered in from time to time. It's not really that interesting, right?
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Story.
I mean, story's been important from the very beginning.
We have to have a drinking game.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna get drunk on water if we sit here and do a drinking game. Yep, agua, or is that vodka? Who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah, so
Women, and we finally get to just a wrestling match, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Mike Awesome, Masato Tanaka.
Mike Awesome, why wasn't he bigger in the States? Because
he had his opportunity, because remember, he goes and signs with WCW.
Yep.
But he had the ECW championship at the time. And that was very important that, they were afraid that he was going to do like, the whole Medusa thing and like throw the belt away, and they couldn't let that happen. So they made sure that it didn't happen. But again, he's you have a whole list of people that are like this, and I think that there are people that are coming back to Impact that are dealing with the same thing, which is you don't want your britches to be too big when you get into some of these promotions, and that's 100% what happens. A guy like Mike Awesome is a pretty solid character, gets a really good push in ECW, gets a lot of respect within the industry, then gets signed to WCW where he disappears. And that is the story of so many people's lives that went from ECW up. I mean, who are the guys that ran through ECW that really went to a different brand and really made something of themselves?
The Dudley Boys.
The Dudley Boys, absolutely. Rob Van Dam did pretty good. Not as good as, I would argue, not as good as the Dudley Boys, though.
True.
Tommy Dreamer, people know him a lot of different places.
Yeah.
Dreamer's got the longevity. Longevity.
Mick Foley.
Sure. Yeah.
Taz
even and
I
definitely
don't say Steve Austin because he didn't do the promos.
Yeah, well, Eddie Guerrero technically was on some ECW, and so was Chris Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at some of the guys with the longevity that were there for a long time, that really grinded it out, and then they went somewhere, like I don't look at Taz and say, oh yeah, Taz WWE. I look at Taz and say Taz ECW. And the same thing with Tommy Dreamer. You know, Tommy Dreamer, he was it's like, yeah, he had a little bit of, fandom, but it's all coming from ECW, because once ECW doesn't exist, where those ECW fans aren't going to just stop watching wrestling. It's what they like. So they're going to be there. But yeah, I mean, some of those guys, I mean, and even guys like that we'll see later on, like the Bam Bam Bigelows and stuff like that, like they've been in different promotions, but to me, ECW was always like, that's where I remember these guys at.
Yeah.
I mean, even for me, as big as the Dudley Boys, were in WWE, I love the degenerate Dudley Boys of ECW. Everybody hated them. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They were some of the best heels ever. What's that?
When they did leave ECW, they should have pulled the whole faction idea with them, because the Dudley's faction was amazing.
Yeah.
And later on the night, Big Dick Dudley just says it all.
The best. But so yeah, I mean, so Masato Tanaka defeats Mike Awesome and
chair to the head, man.
Woo. Dude, what about Mike Awesome almost breaking his neck, going underneath the rail on the one side, and like you could see, dude, when they got the camera up to him, he was hurting. That was one of a few head issues that night that people like definitely had a concussion from.
Well, yeah, after that spot, they go, "There's no pad on this floor."
No.
Just like, no. Oh, it looked. It just. The chair shots in that match alone were. They got the extreme into that match, and it was kind of brutal.
That was stiff. It was a stiff match.
Strictly speaking, pretty average ECW match.
Yeah.
You know, it's what you come to expect. You know, I don't know that there's not much compelling about many ECW matches. It's always just, how are we pushing it? How are we pushing the limit? I mean, you even think about, like, you go back and watch like Mick Foley versus Terry Funk and like the I'm gonna set him on fire match or whatever, like, and how not great that match is. But that whole crescendo of like burning him at the end, like, you know, it works.
Yeah. I think looking back at some of this stuff, I really like the fact that ECW was bringing in and taking chances or working with some of the biggest names in wrestling in other parts of the world at that time. And I think that was one of the other reasons why I kind of wanted to, why I nominated this one, to be voted on, because you got to see 3 pretty big names from Japan in this pay-per-view.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's like you take a little dabble of what ECW was doing, take a little dabble of what WWE used to do and WCW used to do, and you kind of have AEW, and you kind of have a little bit of what Impact's doing. It's like it's weird. It's this recycling of the world that we're at right now.
Yep.
But man, I take that match. This specific match was the one where I think I was messaging Chuck and was like,
yep.
I don't know if I'm into this. Like I just don't know. Like, again, you put that match today, people will be flipping out on social media about the chair shots, the stiff shots, the bumps they had to take. People would say it was the most brutal match they've seen in years. But
the Taz Bam Bam Bigelow match.
Yeah, we're not even there yet.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's just...
And those people aren't watching CZW.
No, not at all.
Negative.
Hey, Chris, you should go to a CZW event. I think you.
We should go to a CZW 100%. Event, actually. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Let's do it. I'm all for it, too.
Right.
Just make sure you don't eat too much before you watch some of the matches. Because those matches get brutal.
You can't tell me not to eat. That just...
Yeah, that doesn't work for Christopher.
It doesn't work.
So. He should be the fattest of all of us. It's a travesty.
But I'm not.
It's true.
So what do we think of Rob Van Dam and Sabu, versus Hayabusa and Shinzaki? Hope I didn't butcher any of those names. I will say this.
Rob Van Dam, you got it.
I love the...
Sabu, you got that one right.
You dick. No, I really enjoyed like the little promo that they cut before that match even happened, like in the back, and just how egotistical Rob Van Dam is. I just love the character. No, but now his character is more like, I'm high all the time, and I think my woman's really sexy, and she can flaunt her skin as much as she wants to, but just don't piss her off, because then I'm gonna have to do something about it. Yeah.
She's got a great face, Sammy Callahan. Yeah.
Well, wonderful.
I got. We talked about this, I think, before we hit record, but Sabu, I just need to understand, because from the promo, like you said, to the very end of the match, is Sabu in character at all times? Is that just who he is? But wait. Is that just who he is, or is that a character?
That's who he is.
I think that's who he is.
Okay.
Like, if you watch ECW from the beginning of when he came in, and even when he did stuff in WWE, I mean, the dude is just out there. Out there. He's mental. I mean, that's
no script.
I picture him walking through the grocery store and just pointing up at the ceiling like every once in a while.
He's shopping and he's just like,
yeah.
I really enjoyed the match as a whole. It had some slower spots and it had some big spots. But my biggest takeaway, that fucking whistle was annoying as hell. Oh my god.
Loved it.
Whistle.
Loved it.
I couldn't. It reminded me of watching it on replay at home when I was a kid and going, I just want to shove the whistle down his effing throat.
God, his character is so good, though.
It is. It is. But I was like, oh my god, stop with the fucking whistle.
Right. Oh my god.
And by the way, Bill Alfonso is the one, by the way, that had the match with Beulah McGillicuddy.
Yep.
Where and he bladed himself way too deep. It is a bloodbath of a match, and when it's over, everybody's excited that Beulah McGillicuddy won, but she is just head to toe covered in blood. It is absolutely insane. One of the most insane matches ever. But dude, he is one of the best, like, I just hate him characters ever.
Mhm.
He's very annoying. He plays that character very well.
Yep.
And you know what? Another thing, and this goes way back in ECW's day, but I always like every now and then on Twitter, they always talk about, you know, who's the best valet of all time or who's the best manager of all time. And I always, and gosh, I forget his name. I always talk about the guy who was it like the Destroyers? I think their name was like the Destroyers. They were just like two big guys that wore masks. Like that was it, like old school. He's the guy who used to bring. I was like, it was Hunter Robbins the Third, I believe is his name.
I have
This is
no idea who you're talking about.
You gotta go way back. You gotta go way back in ECW.
Does
but,
anybody know? What is he talking about?
I'm telling
I don't
you.
remember that.
I will send it to you guys. It's Hunter Robbins the Third, I believe. And yeah, this guy, he used to come out with like this group called like the Destroyers, and they just like wore like, you know, black spandex and wore like masks. Like that was it. Like very bare bones. But like God,
Okay.
ECW, I just think over and over and over again, though, the point I'm trying to make is they've got so many like good, solid characters that didn't need to do a lick of wrestling to be good characters. You know, I mean, Paul Heyman. I mean, Paulie is one of those. You know,
Who doesn't even show up like the whole night
yeah.
Well, you saw him one time.
in the
All the way
at
in the back.
At that point, though, he didn't need to. You know, in the earlier days of ECW, you know,
he come out there with that freaking bag phone and
the best.
Yeah.
The best.
I agree with Steve. I really enjoyed this match. This was the match I think I was looking most forward to watching, just because of who it had in it. I loved the interaction between Van Dam and Sabu because they were tag team champions, but they were not on the same page. I mean,
they did not like each other.
And you can tell by how the match ended.
The pinfall, when they would shove each other out of the way to pin somebody, was great.
Exactly. I mean, and like, the one spot that I remember that you can hear the whole crowd get on is when I think it was Hayabusa comes off the rope on like right in front of the camera, and it looked like he was going to try to do
screwed up.
I don't know, like a clothesline or something, but him and Van Dam screwed it up, and like the whole crowd like just got on him at that point. But I mean, later on in the match, I mean, him and Shinzaki completely redeemed themselves. I mean, watching the two of them work in the ring was like amazing.
Yeah.
Just to see how, I mean, Hayabusa was like one of the first people to do like a 450 off the top rope. And to like see him do it there with such ease, and to see him do some of those things off the middle rope, you know, and unfortunately, like that flip off the middle rope that he does is how, you know, he got really injured. And if you can go back there's a video of it, and I mean, man, it's amazing how many things happen in a wrestling ring and they just go right. And that one time out of 100 that something goes wrong, ooh, like when that happened, like, and his head hit down square on the mat. I mean, ooh, it's like, I watched it twice and I was like, that's it, I'm good. But the match was, I mean, the table spots were awesome, even though they couldn't get the table to work at first because the one leg had already broken off and everything, and they couldn't get it to go up, and the ref just like, they get another one in the ring and they throw that one out. I mean, the chair shot that that Rob Van Dam gave to I think it was Hayabusa on the top rope in the corner when what's his name was holding it for him.
The Van Daminator when he jumped in.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, there was a no sell in the match at some point, and the commentators just go, he just must not have hit him that hard. And it's just like that's perfect. That's how you run with a no sell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's when they I think it was Van Dam or Sabu hit him, and he like somebody jumped back up like right away, and like they double
Shinzaki.
he did a double team, and
Yeah.
I'm like, he just got smoked with like
Yep, he got right back up.
what happened there?
It was good.
And Chuck, you're absolutely wrong, because everything goes wrong when Sabu's in a ring. Nothing goes right. But that's how Sabu wrestles. Completely off the rails, and that's what makes it look cool when Sabu's in the ring. He's jumping, he flips, he's jumping over here. Oh, I dropped the chair, I gotta get another chair. Fuck you, I'm gonna get my chair. Like
Sabu is he's
whatever
like a
he wants.
6-year-old playing a wrestling video game for the first time and just mashing buttons. That's how Sabu wrestles.
That's spot on. His dive out of the ring, off the chair, off the rope, when he went into the crowd on top of all them, was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He scares me every time he does that spot.
Sabu does not care. One of the first things I seen Sabu do was when he cut his arm on that barbed wire, then he stapled it together and duct taped it to finish the match. The guy doesn't care.
The maniac.
Dang.
That was the barbed wire match with Terry Funk. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yes.
Matches.
Oh,
This was tame
match
for Sabu. Yeah, this was a tame match for Sabu.
Well, the thing, but yeah, I mean, we were talking about that earlier because we're watching GCW, and one of the things that we got annoyed at, and it was just in the moment, just a quick thing, is the setup for a spot. You know, when you have 4 guys suddenly all huddle around each other and they're sitting there not doing anything, how annoying that spot is. But it's easy to take that spot out with good production, like you just like don't have the camera pointing on it or whatever. But the great thing about a guy like Sabu is he just didn't. I mean, if nobody's there but the one guy, I'm not waiting on him. I'm going. If I miss him totally, it's okay. I miss him totally because I'm reckless Sabu, and that's how. And earlier, I didn't say this, but earlier when you talked about like, you know, is that the way that Sabu is, or is that just his character or whatever? And this is back in the day when there are still a handful of wrestlers that believe so much in kayfabe that they just embrace who they are. And Sabu is 100% one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants to beat the hell out of everybody.
Him and the Iron Sheik. I feel like Sabu is like a more athletic Iron Sheik, where he's just.
Well, in the match, they said he really takes after his uncle, the Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So. The best part was 3 out of the 4 guys are wrestling in their pajamas. I mean, can't get any better than that.
They do look comfy.
They do.
They do.
Always.
So another good one. I mean, another good match. You guys pointed it out. I like the spot at the end where Sabu basically like shoulder blocks Rob Van Dam off the cover.
Yeah, after the frog splash, Sabu just was like, nope.
It's my pin.
And Van Dam's just like, okay.
Damn. Yeah. So our next match then is a Falls Count Anywhere match for the FTW Heavyweight Championship. And you know what? One of my favorite versions of the FTW Championship belt, because like no, I mean, it's not just that. It's like so for instance, one of the more iconic ones is definitely the strap that they've got in AEW. It's very similar, where it says FTW really big, but there was the version of it that said FTW really small at the top and then looked more like a classical championship belt. And I'm fairly certain that was the one that he had on. Yeah, I could be wrong about that. And I love that belt. In fact, I love that belt so much, I'd like to get a version to put it on the wall behind me because that belt is freaking sweet.
Is that what you're going to do with the wall behind you? Put belts up?
Oh, I will inevitably do something with the wall behind me. I'm not sure yet. Again, just moved into this room for recording, so it's a work in progress.
Match.
I could be like Chuckles and put Bald Monkeys behind me. Go buy merch. Go buy merch.
Merch.
Tapestry, 3 sizes. You can get it.
Merchandise.
I like this match because it's kind of relevant to what's going on today with the FTW Championship. And it was nice because this was only shortly after Taz was like, "Yep, I'm the FTW champion. Here we go. I got my belt right here. I don't care what the hell you guys think. I'm the champion." So it was like right at the beginning of when it started, and you know we've been talking amongst ourselves in our text chat, and one of the things that we were bringing up was music, and I mean, expletive F word, when Taz's music hit, I was like, yeah. I totally forgot how much I loved his freaking theme music. That
man.
like when it hit and the lights are out and he just comes out with like the torn like a towel on his head, I was like, I fucking love this shit. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome, and it might go on my list for theme music. But anyway,
I hope it does. I hope it does because I already know that me and Chris are gonna have at least one double, and then the rest of his one of his songs is garbage, and then the other one is very Chris.
But I really liked the match. I mean, I
cool.
always loved Bam Bam Bigelow and Taz. I mean, this match shows how strong Taz was for not so big of a guy.
On Bam Bam.
Oh, I mean, like some of the chair shots between the two of them, the fighting in the crowd, the back and forth when Bam Bam picks up the bicycle rack and just tosses it right at Taz's head, and like it just knocks him right in the face. I mean,
out of him.
I really enjoyed the match. Like it was so nice to go back and watch it and just like see all of this stuff again, because in the regular stuff that we watch, you know, week to week, you don't see anything. I mean, besides COVID, but whatever. You don't see this stuff anymore, and it's so, for me, it was so refreshing to see it.
Was I the only one that there's like a camera shot of Taz right before this match happens, and I'm like, oh my god, him and Brian Cage are the same damn person.
Yeah.
Like I just saw him in the ring, and I was thinking, dude, he reminds me of him. He reminds me of Cage.
That intensity he has, I think that's one reason they put him with Cage, is try to help him build off of that. The match.
I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing, obviously, to build basically the exact same character.
He's a bigger version.
There are a lot of ECW fans that are big AEW fans. Yeah. So
one of my favorite spots in the match is when they're fighting in the crowd and Bam Bam goes to shove him into the chairs and he slips himself. And he falls like face plants on the floor, and the announcers are going, the floors get really wet from people spilling beer and they get sticky, and sometimes you just fall. And I'm just like,
it's accurate.
The announcers made the night. The announcers were amazing throughout the whole thing. It was great. The match was a car crash. It had probably the biggest spot of the night with it crashing through the ramp.
The ramp, yeah.
But just them digging back out of it was great. And then Taz telling him before the match, "You're gonna tap out." And
I hated the ending.
It was too quick. It was like he like puts the submission on and he like taps. Well, no, but this is where we got the peak of the announcing, because Shane Douglas was so about Bam Bam Bigelow beating Taz that he lost his damn mind when Bam Bam Bigelow lost the match.
That was the ongoing story there. That was Taz versus Shane Douglas for the belt. Bam Bam, I think it was a triple threat at one point where Shane Douglas ended up getting hurt in his elbow or something because of Taz with Bam Bam.
Yep.
Yeah.
Taz was trying to get even on Bam Bam. That was his whole match. Oh, great! It was beautiful.
Hated, and I love at the end as Bam Bam's trying to reach for the rope, and Douglas is up. He was trying to reach for the rope. Come on! He was reaching for. He was right there.
Is wonderful.
Just it proves that a good announcer and a good heel announcer and a good face announcer really make a good match.
100%.
And then occasionally it just flips back to the table, and so we can see a scantily clad woman. I mean, that's really the only reason that it would ever. I'm seeing Chuckles dancing right there, and I'm very uncomfortable all of a sudden.
Clip that.
He'll be right back music on the Twitch stream with the elevator music, and his head goes.
Yeah,
back and forth.
I think that's a wonderful idea. We need to make that happen. Just as long as he's not
writing it down.
I just don't think I can handle Chuck being in like a very like no show outfit like that dancing around. It's very disturbing to my brain.
I couldn't do that. No. No. I'd rather wear Sabu's pajama pants.
So I think we have officially got the new flirting GIF for people, because that's what the request is in the chat.
Nice. Like it.
Yep.
All right, so Bam Bam taps out, and it's the quickest tap out to an amazing match that really shouldn't have it, and
kind of ruins it. Yeah.
Ruins
a little bit.
Ruins the match a little bit. Ruins a good match, but still a great spot with the ramp. The ramp spot to me, really cool.
We're watching it just as the one pay-per-view. Sometimes you need a crappy finish, story going, especially if Douglas is hurt. You want to prolong things before you.
It's a great story.
Great storyline.
Yeah. Great story. Him and Taz were amazing story.
And I think that helped push Taz for other promotions too, because it showed. Because other promotions, Bam Bam had been in New Japan. He'd been in WCW, been in WWE. People know him, and when you can put on a match like that, you're compelling. You look strong, you look tough, even when you are a smaller person. I think they took that match, and that's when they were like, okay, let's put him with Kurt Angle and see what happens on his first match in.
So now can we move on to the entrances that make The Undertaker look like the fastest person in the world? I swear I was watching this and I was like, oh my God, this is going on forever. Now for the latter people, the Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman and the Spike Dudley, it was painful. It was not painful for the Dudleys, because let's be honest, Big Dick Dudley is
Big Dick Dudley.
He's
magical on the mic.
It's just I love, again, we go back to the heel and the face announcers and Styles just refusing to put them over.
Oh yeah.
When the Dudley
I'm not
boys,
even gonna talk.
He goes, I hate these guys. And he says expletive. I hate these guys. So I'm not saying anything about them. I know you. I can hear you. I'm not talking about them.
Yep.
Love it. Like that to me, again, like I find myself more and more just looking at these little things and going, man, I don't realize how great that was when I was a kid, probably. As a kid, I probably just ignored the fact that he was evoking all that emotion and passing it right on to me. Because I'm sure watching, if I ever watch back, I was like, yeah, they're assholes. Yeah.
All I'm saying, Chris, is for somebody who didn't really enjoy this pay-per-view because it wasn't his thing, you seem really into it.
I'm putting on a good face, man. I don't want to sit here and bash it. It was good. It was just... If I had to go back and watch something, if you tell me... If someone has to bash it. No, we're not here to bash stuff. We're here to talk through it and just analyze what was good about it and what didn't work. If something worked,
WrestleMania 1.
That didn't work. But no, here's the thing. I won't go back and watch that again. It's not something that I'd go back and watch. If you told me to go back and watch No Way Out, I'll watch it. I'll go back and watch No Way Out 2004 again.
Are you going to just sit there and just rewatch the boyfriend versus girlfriend blindfold match? The peak of that show?
It's funny to me how everything that I really love, Chris really hates in wrestling. It's this really interesting thing that we got going on this podcast.
Yeah. Double stuffed Oreos, correct. Single stuffed Oreos, incorrect. That's the way it works.
Agreed.
It's just because y'all aren't really friends.
But to be fair, it is nice to have a single stuffer on a double stuff Oreo podcast, apparently.
This got weird. Can we get to the match?
Really weird. Yeah. Your wording of that.
Your wording just made me feel a little uncomfortable. The chat's uncomfortable. We need to move forward.
Is the chat's loving single stuff right now? So I don't know what you're
The chat's trolling. Leave the chat out of this.
It's not trolling. The chat is not trolling.
Oh, I
Trolling.
really got to get my Twitch set up so I can watch this chat next time.
Cheers for single stuff is the chat. They're just trolling. It's okay. All right, we get to the ring. Finally, that's how long the entrance was. We just talked through how long the entrance was. It was us trying to make you feel like it at home.
And Big Dick Dudley, he introduces every single person.
I cannot laugh.
And every single person in the Dudley Boys for their match, and it's magical. It's magical how when you don't have a censor and you can just start like, again, I can't help but think of yesterday when we watched Talkin' Shop-A-Mania.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that they were saying as those guys were going out was absolutely crazy. But Gallows and Anderson as announcers, I mean, they could joke and they could poke fun at somebody and they were still putting them over because it was so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is exactly what Big Dick Dudley is doing. He is just putting over everybody, and it's hysterical. And even though the crowd hates the Dudley Boys, like kayfabe hates them, they love every single second of the introductions.
Hey, the Dudleys hated them too.
I really want a Big Dick Dudley shirt now.
Well, if you want it, I'm not going to get it for you.
Where are you gonna wear that at? On the
I'll
podcast?
I'll wear it to work.
Oh.
All right.
We're working remote, so.
Ah, boo.
I would wear it into work because why not? I mean.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
His wife goes, take that shirt off. Okay, I'm sorry.
Going along with the whistle theme earlier, how much I hated the whistle.
So many gifts are going to be made from this.
I then remembered how much I despised Gertner when he's in the ring with them, and his with his neck brace.
He had a bow tie on.
And oh God, I was like, God, I hate you. 22 years later, bro. Yes.
That's when you know a gimmick works, right?
Perfect.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Perfect.
It's perfect.
It's
I
working.
still hate him.
You still hate him? That's when you know a gimmick works.
Still hate him.
And it was a great. I mean, the funny part is like they didn't need him.
No.
Like Bubba was there, and he could have been the talker in that group forever. But he just added another layer to them, which made them even more heelish.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I just realized I've been talking this whole time and then talking about the wrong person.
I know.
Yeah.
I was going to bring it up.
Why didn't you correct me, man?
I just like seeing you be wrong sometimes, over and over and over again.
Good storyline.
Continue. You don't have to stop and count on me.
Yeah, Jimmy's just gonna sit there and sulk for a while, so we can keep going.
Oh, but when Dreamer,
you can edit it out.
Yeah, you can edit that out. When Dreamer,
we talked about it for a long time. I can't edit it out.
Just insert like.
Edit yourself out.
Yeah, just insert like bleeps every time you say the wrong name.
See, ladies and gentlemen, this is what they love about roundtables that they don't get when they interview wrestlers. They love the fact that they just get to just trash on me all the time.
We do it every time when the wrestler picks double stuff.
I'm sorry.
At the end.
They can trash on you when they're interviewing somebody else. It's not hard to do.
Yeah. We throw you under
Well,
the
yeah,
bus.
but then
plenty.
you don't get to see me react to it, though. That's the thing.
That
Always
is true.
remind me.
I just need to listen to you go crazy. I have a whole podcast that I can listen to just you going crazy.
And then you got to follow it up with the one where he doesn't say nothing at all, and that's just beautiful.
And the one where he talks to himself the entire time.
That's the one.
Episode 4, maybe?
I think it's 3.
I'll send a link out.
It's somewhere around there.
No,
yeah.
don't send a link out
Yes.
because that idiot did that the other day. That guy, he goes, "Hey, make sure you listen to the podcast," and he puts a link up for like it's the first time I've ever clicked one of his links. Right? I'll retweet his stuff, and before I retweeted this one, I'm like, let me click this link, and it goes, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the episode where I'm talking to myself. And I send him a message immediately. I'm like, hey, idiot, did you do that on purpose? And he's like, maybe.
We got to get that to be like our most viewed episode. Just for
No, we don't.
Oh, we can make that happen.
I wish.
No, let's
Keep
not
up
make
there
that
at the Twitch
happen.
channel and everything. Go give it a listen. Give us some comments. Give us some feedback. Yeah.
Just leave it on. Just leave it on replay. You don't have to watch it. Just leave it in the background so the numbers go up. Oh,
I apologize, everybody, for miss talking about who in the Dudley clan was actually doing all of the talking.
It's okay. I enjoyed you saying Big Dick Dudley over and over again.
we were just counting how many times you could say Big Dick Doug.
I just really wanted to say Big Dick Dudley.
I mean, he did talk. So you were right.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Mostly.
You did talk. But I mean, for me, this match like kind of fell short for me. Out of all the matches on the card, I was like, I was excited to see it, and like there was like one spot that I really liked was when all four corners were in the tree of woe, and they all got chair shots or kicked to the face. I forget if everybody. I don't know. It was something like that.
The ref joined in too.
Yeah, the ref joined in for the fourth. That was out of everything that happened. That and New Jack coming in at the end were the two things I remembered.
When he had that stop sign. And
Yep.
Bang. Great.
It was.
And then he put the shopping cart and threw it at somebody else too.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, he threw the shopping cart in. It went flying into the corner.
Who did it hit? It hit somebody in the corner.
It hit the guy who ran in and hit him with the guitar.
It hit him hard.
He hit him with the guitar too.
It just it felt like the go home main event at a house show when he came out at the end.
It was the go home happy.
Yeah.
It sent everybody home happy. As a match, meh. I don't know, Jimmy. What do you think about Big Dick Dudley?
I hate all of you. I don't even know why I do a podcast with you guys anymore. My favorite thing in the match, it was actually before the match happened, and it was just because it just made me think about some of these old guys that have been in wrestling for so long and have been in extreme wrestling for so long and have bladed for so long and stuff like that, that they've got so much scar tissue. And the thing about scar tissue is it bleeds very easily. So you always see like in MMA and stuff like that, guys will actually get surgery to get scar tissue taken out so that they don't bleed as easily. And you've got Sandman who opens up a beer at the very beginning, chugs it, then smashes his head like 2 times, the very first beer can, and then he's just busted open.
Oh yeah.
He's just like bleeding all over the place the rest of the match.
I love it when Spike did it because Spike goes.
And
Man,
that fits the character for
Spike
sure.
looks so young, man. He looks so young in this match.
They all do.
Well, yeah, but he looks like he looked like he was 16 years old.
Probably was.
No,
Oh, get out of here.
he just
crazy.
looks young. He's probably old. I don't know. You probably figure out Spike Dudley. When was Spike Dudley born?
Where's Wikipedia?
1970. Spike Dudley's born.
So he was 28 at that time.
Yeah.
Wow. Dang, yeah, he looked a lot younger than 28.
So, yeah, the match was, for lack of a better term.
No, I agree with Christopher. I think it is a situation where here are all your main people. Here is what you're waiting for. It's like when you go to a WWE show nowadays. Well, at least it used to be this way. Like you would go to a SmackDown show, and they would have 205 Live after it, but then they'd say, but after that, we're having this really crazy match with all these A-listers so that they can all get in the ring and then they all can do their finisher, and so they can try to keep people at that show.
It's like,
well, that's kind of what this match feels like.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
I do want to point out, you guys were talking about Spike looking young. Bubba was in his larger stage of his life.
Yeah.
And as watching him throughout his career, it's crazy to me how he had like a body transformation throughout his career, where he was bigger some years, he was leaner other years. It's interesting how wrestlers sometimes just get into different shapes, for lack of a better term, where they're sometimes in, sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're lean. But we've seen that.
I feel like the Big Show is the same way.
Big Show when he first started, and then he got bigger. But it's weird, wrestlers. And it's tough because you're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Jinder Mahal, Drew McIntyre.
Oh, Chad, look, Drew McIntyre. We talk about Jinder Mahal, but Drew McIntyre back then was like,
he was a real heavyweight looking guy.
Yeah.
Now he's
yeah.
I remember the first time we saw him when he came back to NXT. Remember we were watching NXT and I was like, oh my God, Chris, Drew McIntyre has become a monster. He is a monster.
Jimmy immediately called out that Drew McIntyre would be world champion when he first came into NXT. He was like, Vince McMahon is going to get this guy with a title belt around his waist as soon as possible.
Pretty much.
Minus an injury, pretty much what
happened, yeah. Yeah, and now they love putting their titles on big men, and one of them makes sense and one of them doesn't. But that's neither here nor there. Grades! Let's give it a grade. A through F. Christopher. Let's start with Christopher, because Christopher clearly didn't like it as much as the rest of us.
A through F?
That's the grading scale.
Did we do numbers last time?
We did numbers last time, didn't we?
Oh, he can change it up.
1 through 10.
Yeah, but if he keeps changing it up, how am I supposed to keep track of this
0 through
stuff?
10. You don't. You don't. It's a pot.
How many creamy Kramers? Yes. How many creamy Kramers?
How many
out
creamy
of 5?
Kramers?
Out of 5.
Out of 5, how many creamy Kramers?
Yes.
Wait a second. Is having more creamy Kramers a bad thing or a good
which
thing?
is which?
You don't want too much cream, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. Is it the lower number or the higher number?
Well, so on the creamy Kramers scale, more creamy Kramers. We're gonna say that more creamy Kramers is better.
Okay.
So how many creamy Kramers? Where 1 or 0 would be the least amount of creamy Kramers, means it's not good, and 10 creamy Kramers means that it's just
all
like it's chock full of creamy Kramer.
Damn.
Chock full of Kramer.
Okay, Chris.
T-shirt.
I kind of want to give you a letter grade now, just to piss you off.
That will make me mad.
I'm gonna give it 7. A 7 creamy Kramer out of 10.
I'm shocked. Call me shocked.
I am.
That is way more creamy Kramer than I thought I was gonna get from you.
And again, just because it's something that not necessarily is my favorite type of wrestling, doesn't mean it wasn't entertaining. I think it was entertaining. I watched it. I got to admit, there were moments where I wasn't paying attention. I found other things to do, and to me, that's why it started lowering on the scale. My eyes did not come off of what I watched yesterday. on a pay-per-view. And to me, that makes something entertaining, and that makes it get a higher score. This, while I was definitely watching the first match, some of the second match, some of the Bam Bam Taz match, there was other matches where I wasn't into it. Even the last match, I don't remember what happened for half of it. You guys talked through it. I know kind of what happened,
Okay.
but I just wasn't my cup of tea.
Okay, so if this one gets a 7 out of 10,
We have to adjust
No
his
Way Out?
creamy. We have to adjust his creamy Kramer score. I think he said 7, and I don't think that makes any sense because all of a sudden
Well,
that makes our ranking of this, I think, a lot more difficult.
I know. Yeah.
because I was going to get it. So is
Yeah.
No Way Out like a 14 out of 10 for you? Is that what's going on?
You
Whatever.
are the people that made the scoring system.
That's true.
He
Whatever.
just doesn't understand how much a creamy Kramer is.
I am the judge from Russia, screwing everything up. Just deal with it and give the damn scores.
I give it 6 creamy Kramers.
It means
It
nothing.
had moments that were
It
They had
means
moments that were good,
everything.
but it was not the greatest pay-per-view ECW has done. It still left you wanting more in certain areas, and it could have been more of that car crash moments that ECW was known for. Overall, it's an entertaining pay-per-view. It's something worth watching. They wasted a lot of time, like you said earlier, on the entrances for the last match. It's like they cut stuff short, and they're like, "Oh crap, we need to make up time, and we don't have another match," kind of thing. It was a solid pay-per-view, but nothing more than a 6.
But this did go down as one of like their best pay-per-views, right?
Time to speak.
This is rated by numerous places as the best ECW pay-per-view.
No.
Well, Steven,
Well, when we
you're
talk about
wrong.
production, you talk about story going into it, and you talk about was the pay-per-view successful? Because like when we're grading ECW, like whether something was successful, are we taking into consideration like do we actually consider a pay-per-view where the ring kept breaking? So like you had one of the female wrestlers stripping. I mean, that's one of their most iconic things that they've ever done, but I wouldn't call that successful. And ECW fans will know what I'm talking about.
That one gets a 6.
I can't hear you, Chris.
Yeah,
I said,
you're-
so that one gets a
muted.
6.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, there it goes.
6.
That one before it gets a 6. I don't know. I'm sorry, Chuck. Sorry for interrupting, Chuck. Go ahead.
Dude, I don't really. You guys can interrupt me all you want. I give it I'm with Tiro on it. As much as I did like it, I give it a 7. Get out of here. Can we block out Steven? I'm just gonna put like a piece of paper so I don't have to look at him and his 6 fingers up in the air. I give it a 7. It was entertaining. Now he's giving me 2.
2? A 2 creamy Kramers?
I don't know. Where's that 4?
That's 4.
What's with the
creamy
wings?
Kramers?
What's with the
Slide
wings? What is this? No, I give it a 7. It was a solid show. I enjoyed it. I liked going back watching it. Some of it was better than others. I wish they would have had that opening match on it as well. That would have been nice to see. I mean, you can probably go back online and find it somewhere, but yeah, I do wish they would have had that on it. But like I said, the Taz Bam Bam match I loved. The tag match I loved. The first match I really liked. The Candido match, Steven, you can shake your head all you want. You know you're wrong. But yeah, 7.
Can your internet drop out already like normal? Come on.
No, bro. No.
Oh, well, let's be honest here, though. He already changed his spot in the Zoom call. So, I get to edit that out.
I love it. I love it.
He's always been at the end of the list for me, so it didn't change very much on mine.
I love it.
So I do believe that even though what Chris's opinions don't really match up with his Creamy Kramer rating,
Agreed.
but I do believe that it is a 7. But since I am a very big ECW fan, I'm going to give it an extra number. And we're gonna
Yeah.
say 8 creamy Kramers.
There you go.
Out of 10 creamy Kramers.
I like it. And Steven can keep shaking his head down there in a corner.
Look, Chrome Dumb. I don't want to hear it.
I love how somehow I was able to like deflect.
Yeah, I know.
It totally started with hatred towards me, and I deflected it to Steven. Ha ha!
Have to go with 6. Sorry, fellas. Well, it's all good. Again, I'm giving extra points to ECW because it's ECW. And, you know,
there's no wrong answer.
It deserves love. It deserves love.
There's no wrong
We're
answer.
4 schmucks sitting in rooms talking about wrestling that happened 22 years ago, giving it grades. You don't have to listen to us.
I'm actually a schmo, not a schmuck.
Schmecklack.
You're not on the schmucklack family?
I'm a Joe Schmo,
You're a Joe
not a
Schmo,
Randy.
okay.
Not a Randy Schmucklack. So that's it. Those are the grades. They're set in stone. There will be a quiz later. Not really, but we do have a list of pay-per-views that we will have people voting on eventually. That being said, and you can stop talking trash about me in chat. That being said, next week is probably going to be a little bit different. I'm going to throw out what is probably going to happen. Don't take this totally to heart because we should be able to coordinate this, but I still got to talk to the gentleman who will be joining us. So online, JC Vega had tweeted something about how
the
the
uprising champion of Elevate Pro down in Louisiana.
He had tweeted something about how when he was a kid, he used to want to come out to jump by crisscross. And I couldn't help myself. And I replied to the tweet because it was like, I've always wanted to do this topic. I have always wanted. So the plan is the next time we record is going to be a podcast about our top 3 wrestling intros that have actually been used. The song, and it can either be a wrestling theme or just a song. Maybe it was never even used, but just a song that as a kid you always wanted to come into. And then the last one is a song that is absolutely ridiculous, that it's not a wrestling intro. And I don't know how many of the boys are going to be on the podcast, but I asked JC Vega if he wanted to join. He said he would like to, so we have to coordinate that out. And that will be the topic. More
than likely, you will not see this beautiful face. Jump. You will not see this beautiful face, but you'll probably hear my voice. I'll just take a seat back so that JC can have, up front camera, and I'll play moderator and I'll mess with the people in the chat. We'll yell at Jimmy the whole time.
You got to come up with your answers though.
Oh, my answers have been submitted.
He's got them already.
-1. I think there's one that you.
I need one more.
Yeah.
But
so that being said, I've given that homework to all the bald monkeys. Everybody's been thinking about. The only one that I know for sure is I know the #1 wrestling theme song of all time, easy peasy lemon squeezy, and I know that Chuck's favorite band has a song that I'm just like, this was born for wrestling, and it's ridiculous that it's never been used before, and that's all I'll give away.
They have a few. They have a few, but that one is like the ultimate, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
That's the one I'm missing. I'm missing the one where it's like it should have been. So I'll work on that. But all my other homework's in.
Yeah. But that's it. That's it for the podcast portion. I'm more than happy to sit on and chat with you guys about any questions that you might have, anything that has happened in wrestling that you might want to know our opinions on. I will stop recording though. We will see you next time. That's for the recording. I love ending the podcast that I edit because I just wanted them to be train wrecks every single time.
They are.
But yeah, I'm definitely. But for chat, I definitely am going to reach out onto social media and ask for what people like theme songs that you really liked as a kid, and maybe ones that you're surprised haven't been used, just so we can throw some other people's opinions into the mix, because I'm sure there's going to be some. What's that?
What?
What song you want to be your theme song?
Like maybe when you were a kid, yeah, and that's fine. Like it can be a wrestler's theme. That's fine.
See, being a kid, I always think 80s wrestling, and for some reason, "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen always is in my head, as that would be the perfect 80s wrestling intro song.
Well, I mean,
that could be yours.
That's mine.
There you go. That's all.
You just ruined it for next week, Steven. Way to go.
Well, you know,
it depends on what day it is, because we're going to the beach, so I might not be able to be on it.
Have a good time. Stop me now.
There you go.
Spoilers. The chat says spoilers.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
That's
Chris's is going to be Renegade.
No, I did not pick. I did not.
He didn't even think about Renegade.
No.
I picked Renegade.
Dude, when you brought this topic up, I was like, shit. I know exactly what my theme song was, and at the time as a kid would have been, and it's something that no one would even be remotely able to guess.
Girls just want to have fun.
No.
I would.
Too sexy for this
We've
car.
only just
Too sexy for this.
to live. It's definitely the Carpenters. It's definitely the Carpenters.
I will tell you, 80s hair metal band.
Probably Def Leppard. It's got to be a Def Leppard.
No.
How is that possible?
No.
Wow.
One of my other favorite bands.
No spoilers.
Man.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
We'll keep it there. We'll keep it there.
Jimmy,
I need to see what Vintage Dream is talking about, a fun fact, and I'm not quite clear on it, and I need to see if you can help me. Fun fact: one of
the Rougeau brothers.
Oh, the Rougeaus. Okay, thank you. I didn't know what he spelled there. Sang not one, not two, but 3 of his own themes. Is
That's
that
kind of crazy?
It's interesting that when people get used on their themes nowadays, because there's a lot of them nowadays that
is interesting.
That you'll hear that are part of their own theme songs. Although I'll be honest, I'm surprised, like, because in the independent wrestling scene, it's like themes are always like songs that they definitely don't have the rights to.
And it's awesome. And it's awesome.
But it's great.
Yeah.
But
oh, really good.
But shit, you put up a clip on Facebook or Twitter that has 3 seconds of someone's song on it, and they're like, "Nope, take it down."
We got chat fact checking each other right now.
By the way, confirmed.
Confirmed.
I love it.
Did you guys watch Impact this week?
I missed it.
Yes, sir.
Do you watch Impact on Twitch, Chris?
I do.
I have to.
I do too. And like,
I hate the commercials.
The commercial breaks are so painful.
I mute it, and I just like am counting down the seconds till it comes back on.
So it's interesting. So last week was after Slammiversary, right? So they hit, I think it was around 17,000 people in the room on Twitch. This week,
was it that much? I don't think it was that much. I thought it was in the sevens.
I think you're
about 10K off.
No, I'm pretty sure.
It was high.
No, dude, I'm pretty sure it was like 17,000. I'll double check. Either way, it dropped down significantly this week. Significantly, to the point where it was like she couldn't keep up with the chat last week. This week, it was the chat was making her say things that she probably wasn't supposed to be saying.
I mean, I don't like.
But it is
I don't
painful.
know it very much because it's just commercial breaks. There very much should be almost a script for it, and almost like you do this spot, like, because she does that sometimes, right? She does the thing where she goes, "Where's everybody from?" And then she just like they start listing, and she just starts naming places and goes, "Oh, I really like this place, and I really like this place." And it's like the opposite side of it is just know how long your commercial breaks are going to be and play clips in between. Or like when they just throw the little Impact logo and it's just like playing music over and over and over again, it's almost better.
Yeah.
Because she gives up sometimes in between commercial breaks, and it's like, come on now.
I like how they had 17,000 people after Slammiversary, and Twitch and the feed worked perfectly fine. Yet the week before Slammiversary, they couldn't even get the damn Twitch to work, and like I literally missed, I think, 3/4 of the damn show.
Yeah. I mean, it's convenient. It's really convenient that they actually play the show on Twitch. I think that's a very good idea.
They replay it on Fridays.
Yeah. I actually definitely missed the one week and rewatched it on the Friday. What did you think about Chris? Because you said you watched it. What did you think about Wrestle House?
Loved it. Loved it. Tweeted about it. I think it's the best non-wrestling thing on TV right now for any of the wrestling promotions. It's genius. It's absolutely genius. It's a way to take a lot of wrestlers that are probably going to have to take a back seat temporarily to some of these big signings and still showcase them. It's perfect.
I have one question. I did watch like the little 3 to 5 minute recaps on YouTube that Impact puts up. So I did watch all that stuff, but do we know when they shot the Wrestle House stuff? Like, is this something that was shot like recently, or was it shot like a few months ago?
I don't think it was shot a few months ago. I wouldn't think that.
The only reason I bring that up is because I know AC has been losing weight, and congrats to him.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty big, right?
And he still looks very big in a lot of these matches and stuff. So that's my one question, and not that it changes anything. I could care less. But it was just, I was wondering when some of these things happen, because I know AC Romero is doing a kick-ass job on getting more healthy and everything and stuff. So I know that he doesn't look the way he used to. So it would be interesting to know.
I'm not sure.
I would say
it's a good point.
I mean, considering that I've seen pictures of him, I think on Twitter, and he has lost so much extra weight, I would say it's probably accurate that it was then taped previously.
Yeah,
for sure, almost 100%. I didn't think about that.
Stupid things that I think about and try to piece together. But I enjoyed Wrestle House. I thought it was hilarious. It was really funny.
I'm not quite caught up on NXT. I usually watch it every week, but this week it's got to get pushed into the next week.
I miss Wednesday wrestling this week. I got to catch up on it. I haven't got around to it yet.
You know who hasn't been watching Wednesday wrestling at all?
Who?
This guy.
Wow.
I really haven't. Like, I've really been watching like Impact and independent wrestling. That's been like really the extent of what I've been watching a lot of. I haven't caught an AEW in a while. I mean, I read about WWE all the time. I read about AEW all the time. I think I read and then watched the clip of Bray Wyatt attacking Alexa Bliss, and my response to that was good. Great thing to happen. I think that's, I mean, minus the stereotypical thing, which is that he has a tendency to attack people and then they become heels. Now, that's fine. I think Alexa Bliss is a better heel than she is a face anyhow. But I just, in general, I just like her getting attacked by Bray Wyatt. Again, you watch the independent scene, and we've been watching a lot of independent wrestling, and they're just so unscared about intergender stuff. And, I don't see the reasoning as to why they would be bashful about doing that stuff on main card wrestling.
And
like,
Cody
how many complaints are they really getting about it?
Cody is dead set against it.
Yeah.
Why is he against it?
Yeah.
Chris, you said, why is he against it?
Yeah, why is Cody against it? I'm sorry, I'm tracking. We got people following us right now, and I'm trying to give them credit
Yeah,
for
followers.
it.
So there was a back and forth on Twitter between Lufisto, right?
Yes, Lufisto. Yep.
And Cody, and the whole thing of when Warhorse got a shot at the title and everything. Some people had thrown out her name, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm down. Cody Rhodes, let's go, let's do it." And he actually came out and responded back to her and was like, I respect you as a wrestler. I respect women's wrestling, but that's just not something that we really want to do in AEW. I don't know if there was a specific reason.
Well, with
But
all
I
the
know,
movements going on now against, the Me Too movement and all these things about girls being assaulted and every little thing, it it's a touchy area for some of these people who do get so much main network television deals and stuff like that. So it might end up being like TNT says, no, you can't have this kind of stuff.
no, I don't think it's TNT bringing it down. I honestly think it's Cody and those, from the sounds of it, I think it's Cody and those guys and like the elite.
I go back to the thing where you don't always need intergender wrestling. You
No.
don't always need it. If you have
Don't
a
have
strong,
it.
if you don't, well, you don't, but you don't, but independents have it. And I feel like independents need it because there's not enough of a women's division on the independent circuit to allow them to have different matches all the time. It's something that we've talked about.
And that was brought up by Shaza when we asked her Jimmy's
Yeah.
great question.
So I just, again, it's I don't think you necessarily need it on the main card stuff. I think you just need to promote the women's division better, the tag team division better.
Oh, let's talk about the tag team in AEW.
Which one?
Who enjoys, who is enjoying the fact that this female tag team tournament is like by blind lottery? Not me.
I don't get it.
It's stupid.
This whole tag team tournament was supposedly like how we're gonna have the Nightmare Sisters, but now it's technically like a random drawing.
But is that for everybody else and not the Nightmare Sisters?
Why?
That's what it sounds like.
Why?
Exactly.
Why?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't they have to pick out of a hat too and pick a color?
I don't know.
Can't help but still be annoyed at AEW for doing this. You need to focus on making your women's division very
The timing is wrong.
before the timing is, it's weird
No,
because it's like, well, no, it's not weird, but hear me out, right?
It's weird
because,
for AEW.
because we're fighting a war on two fronts. We're saying, well, when it comes to ratings, whether they say it or not, when it comes to ratings, we're worried about WWE, but Impact is showing a lot of interesting creativity, so we need to beat them to the punch from the creativity side.
Listen to our podcast. I mean, we literally talked about this
over and over again.
4 weeks ago.
Well,
we
I mean,
literally talked about it.
You can go historically down the list, right? And just like Moose, we talked about that Moose storyline. You know, that was a Cesaro storyline I pitched.
Yep.
So that was a thing we talked about, and they're
Stop
doing it.
taking our ideas.
And then they're jumping on with Taz and Cage, you know, playing off of that storyline.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the rest of this tag team pairings and tournament goes and who else they bring in. I mean, I was not a fan of the first person that they brought in, who was an old
Cameron.
Yeah, WWE person, and I mean,
Taya Conti is the next rumored name to be coming in. So another
I'm okay
ex
with that.
WWE.
But they've been talking about her actually getting signed too, I believe, because I don't think some of these people are getting signed. Like some of these tag teams are definitely doing like one-offs, and you know, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they try people out, and if those people really get over, then they sign them.
Allen Angels.
They brought in Kingston.
Congrats, Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston,
on
you're the
getting
man.
signed. Way to go,
And,
man.
you know, he did a great job. He cut an amazing promo, and then
The
Yeah.
Funkadactyl.
And I know we don't like to talk about rumors, but there is a rumor out there that AEW and NWA are trying to possibly do some sort of team up there.
NWA will not survive if they don't do something like that. So it makes all the sense in the world, as Christopher would say, it makes all the sense in the world that NWA would jump on board with AEW because they will not survive without it. All this stuff is getting pushed out too long.
Yeah.
And they have the right talent to do that with AEW. I think they fit well.
Just be their second show. It can be their second show, basically.
Yeah. It could be their second show.
Yeah. They got titles on that show. They got good announcers. It's built already. You know, it's like here it is. Here's your B show. It's built for you. All you have to do is sign.
But it's all rumor.
How Impact started the NWA, so when it was TNA.
I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with Impact, you know, getting all hunky-dory with Ring of Honor eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the problem is that although I don't know that it's a problem, right? Because you have this situation where WWE has been going out and getting some stuff, trying to sign some people, but it seems like they've been missing the mark lately. They haven't really been getting the big signings, and I think it's because of these promotions like AEW and Impact that are basically allowing their wrestlers to wrestle with that promotion and then go do independent stuff. I think that's a very important thing for all of these people. The freedom.
It is. And that's what a lot of wrestlers have said is they like that they can do some other things. And they're not just pigeonholed into, you know, their Monday night show or their Wednesday night show or their Friday night show.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the chat.
SummerSlam 1994, I got to look that up real quick.
Taker versus Taker.
Oh my gosh. See, those were the pay-per-views that I was hoping people would suggest. Taker versus Taker is just like horrid, but on rewatching it, kind of horrid in the best way possible.
What were the other three pay-per-views that were in the last one? One was Bash at the Beach, right?
One was Bash at the Beach.
That came in second.
Another one was another SummerSlam, maybe?
SummerSlam 2001.
I think so.
And then WrestleMania 30. Which, good gracious, we'd have to cut that into two parts.
Can we not do one of those?
And we might need to put this down right now. It needs to be a non-WrestleMania pay-per-view. Yeah. Because the WrestleManias are 5, 6, 7 hours. If you're going to do a WrestleMania, it's got to be an older WrestleMania. Now, I don't deny that some of the WrestleManias were good. Someone's saying WrestleMania 30. You know, I don't deny that some of these WrestleManias have good moments in them, but we can't sit here and talk about a 7-hour show on a podcast. Jimmy will be here all night.
It'll be like a survival podcast.
We will be 24 hours streaming about one show that was only 6 hours long.
I'll say this, though. SummerSlam 94, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart in a steel cage match. That was a good
match.
That might be worth watching the whole pay-per-view.
Yeah.
We'll put that on the list.
And then you get a small little Taker versus Taker match at the end. I mean,
Alundra Blaze versus Bull Nakano.
There's more.
Have fun storming the castle.
I would love. What pay-per-view was it when it was Taker versus? Oh God, why do I always forget these names? I had it in my brain. The guy who Giant Gonzalez.
Oh my God, the Giant Gonzalez. Wow.
That was WrestleMania in 1 year.
Yeah, it was like an early WrestleMania, right? Like
13, I think.
Chuckopedia?
man.
I'm on it.
So,
Taker.
WrestleMania 9.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I bet you WrestleMania 9.
hey, look at that. Vintage pulled that out right before Chuck did. WrestleMania
Hey,
9.
there you go.
We got Vintagepedia.
Vintagepedia. All right.
I gotta run. You guys keep talking. The banter's
You're
good.
literally
everybody say
running.
bye to boss. Everyone say bye to the boss in the chat.
Bye to boss.
Bye to boss. Bye to boss.
I'm leaving, Chuck, just for you.
I know.
Bye, boss.
Anybody think he looks like Angel Garza's cousin right now?
You do got a little Angel Garza in you right there.
You're just upset you don't have hair, so I don't hear it.
I don't want hair. You know how easy this is, bro? Oh!
So easy, bro. So easy.
So easy.
Let's do the GIF out for him.
I take my pride in this. I don't need this.
Oh,
See you later, the
jeez.
boss.
Much love, y'all. Much love.
Later, Steven.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Boss
good.
Garza.
SummerSlam 92 is the one with Macho Elizabeth Wedding. That's a good one too.
And those should all shouldn't be too long.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why do we hate on the boss so much?
All right, listen. It is a revolving game of
It goes
hatred.
around.
Everybody
goes
gets
around.
shit.
You saw how they came at me there for a while, and I deflected. It's the trick that you need to deflect to the next person, and it just keeps going around. It keeps going around. I don't
Well-
care about his hair. I don't know. No, Woot. I don't care about his hair. I don't need hair. I'm good.
No.
It's not about the hair.
No.
It's about this revolving cycle of here. If Creamy Kramer was here, he'd be getting it for a while. If Nakamura was here, the dog would be barking, and he'd be getting it for a while.
And then when Big Baby Jimmy's here, he just gets it the whole time, basically. I
Vince,
never stop getting it.
I know I'm gonna get it because I turned my camera off for a second and it totally changed my spot. So Jimmy's got to go.
I was messaging.
I
you,
gave
not
you
do
it.
that,
I
man.
gave you it as much as
I bake goods, not
Whatever.
give words.
No hate here ever. Just tons of poutine. Poutine everywhere.
Ooh.
Who wants some gravy fries?
I want some gravy fries and some Tim Horton, and I'm in.
Oh, Tim
We
Hortons.
should wait.
Listen,
we should get
some Tim Hortons in Michigan. I'm just saying.
We should get some coleslaw for Fogel, aka Canadian mayo.
The next time they do a big pay-per-view in Michigan, we all need to go up to it, and we're gonna take the locals.
Oh, I got the Timmies. Double doubles. Double doubles.
Hell yeah. Give me some of that Buddies too while you're at it.
Oh man, I could do
Pizza.
a stream about food and about like
yeah.
places to go. Like that to me, like but you're not supposed to eat on this stuff, right?
Timbits. What, you're not supposed to eat on what, Twitter?
On Twitter, yeah. It's like
I
one
mean,
of the rules.
they don't
Twitter?
get
Oh no,
get angry.
Twitch.
or Twitch.
Well, how is that going to happen? Sledge and Alex had a taco battle.
You're
and they're having
technically
one in like 2 weeks.
no.
it's one of the rules that you're not supposed to be eating on Twitch. But who cares?
Well,
Who cares about rules? We don't follow rules.
I watch plenty of streamers that they stream for 8 hours, and guess what? At some point, they're eating during the stream. Like
Lunchables, Crustables.
Crust. What are we gonna set up a Bald Monkeys podcast taping where we're gonna like do a who got the cool lunch at school challenge?
Me.
Eating challenge?
Me.
You were the Lunchable Uncrustable guy?
No,
that didn't exist. You're too old.
no. I had like chicken
stole it from your girls.
parm. I had
stole it
like
from your
meatball.
P.S. WrestleMania 9 might not be that long.
Okay. And WrestleMania 9 was what?
I don't
That was
think any
the
of
one.
the early ones are.
That was the one with Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez. I'm just looking at the match times.
The 15 and up was the ones that's really started
Yeah.
to climb.
looking at the match times, you're looking at like a normal, probably 3-hour pay-per-view.
Well, yeah, but the problem is we definitely have to do WrestleMania 17 at some point.
Ooh, outside in Vegas, yeah.
It's kind of like, yeah. Oh, it's the most atrocious one ever, isn't it?
That's
Isn't
the one.
WrestleMania 9?
Where
That's the
Bobby
one
the
where-
Brain is like in a robe and like he's got the
Yeah.
things. Oh yes,
No,
yes,
I'm
Bobby
pretty
on an
sure-
elephant. Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't that the one where like Yokozuna or whatever like wins the belt, like beats, or not, or is that afterwards?
Other way around.
Or no.
Luger.
Bret, I thought Bret Hart had it or something like that. Am I way off on that?
No, dude.
thought-
You're the last match is Hogan versus Yokozuna.
Yeah, I'm saying he has a match before that. He has a match with I think Bret.
Yeah. He has a match
And
with Bret before
and he
that.
beats Bret, and then Hogan comes out, and they have like a 3-minute match where Hogan then gets the belt. Or 2 minute. Oh, sorry,
match.
2-minute match.
No. 22 seconds.
22-second match.
According to
The worst.
Chuckopedia,
Wait,
22 seconds.
What?
The worst of the worst. We have to do WrestleMania 9. I mean, that's some atrocious stuff right there.
I
I mean,
need.
listen, if you're new to this podcast, all I gotta say is no. I don't think anybody's a Hulk Hogan fan around here. You know, mine's that damn good music.
So is it like 9 seconds, 22 seconds, or is it like 22 seconds?
I don't know. We'd have to watch it.
That'd be interesting to see.
Oh, you mean like you're talking about WrestleMania 1?
Oh, yeah.
King Kong Bundy and his 9-second win. That was
The
actually
fastest win.
which is
Yeah.
actually 25 seconds. God.
So we got
I
we got 6 people in the chat. We've had some pretty decent numbers. We're pushing to keep the average up. It's like one leg drop and Hulk wins.
I know.
That's
it's the
all of
worst.
his matches.
It's the worst.
That's every Hulk Hogan match.
I think the best Hulk Hogan match ever, is when he fought Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels oversold every single thing that he did, like times 10. I mean, just because it was
That's
just
Shawn.
like, as a wrestling fan, you're just like, this is wonderful.
See, and I would have to say Hulk Hogan's best match was when he wasn't even in WWF.
Really?
Like some of his old, like, for less of a better term, independent stuff, like before he came to WWF and Vince brought him in, like he actually like wrestled. Like if you watched what Dark Side of the Ring was it?
Oh, it was the one with the slap heard around the world.
If you watch some of that, like I forget who they talked to. I forget who the main guy was that they talked to, but like he was good friends with Hogan, and like they had some good matches, and they showed some of his stuff, and it was totally different Hogan. And if like you can find some of his really old stuff,
Thunderlips.
I can't push Dark Side of the Ring enough to anybody who hasn't watched it. Watch that. It's so
I can't
good.
wait till it comes back, but that's going to be a while because those guys can't travel.
But you know what? The thing is like as good as this season was, I still, man, that first season had so many stories that I didn't know because there was just so much of like that, like Texas wrestling that they have all these stories from.
Mm-hmm.
And those were the stories that really did it for me. Like the killing of Bruiser Brody was so good.
That one's amazing.
That was probably their best one.
And if that wasn't their best one, probably the last of the Von Erichs. Like that one was really, really good too.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a retweet from Jordan Oliver.
Hey, Jordan, email us back.
That's happening. It's gonna happen. You just gotta.
I know.
He's probably doing it right now.
I said to Chris, he's been traveling a little bit, and he'll get back to us.
Are there any interviews that, since the few people on Twitch here, you can give them a little update on who's getting ready to come up on Wrestle Joy?
Monday, tomorrow.
Yeah.
We drop our newest interview with one of I think, Chuck's favorite interviews we've probably had so far.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, one of them. The Metalhead Maniac.
Sledge. Of Ring of Honor. He does a Twitch show, Coffee with Sledge, 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Usually about, is it like 3 Eastern?
3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific.
And
figure out your other time zones in between.
Yeah. He should have some clips to show on his show, but it'll the whole episode will drop at noon tomorrow Eastern time on Wrestle Joy.
I thought I was gonna go to bed early tonight. Nope.
Well, you gotta start doing it. It's already ready to go, man.
I gotta build the page.
Oh, it's fine.
I know.
We can knock that out.
We got that.
We did see his house. See, Vintage knows how it's at. Yes, we did see his happy hour with the bouncers.
Yep.
He recently had a taco eating contest with Alex Zane that they're gonna have a rematch this month.
August 10th.
This
12
guy.
tacos.
This guy.
12 tacos.
We're trying to get Captain Chuckles into the eating contest. That's our goal. We're trying to enter.
What was the time limit? What was the time limit for them to eat it?
There's really no time limit. It's whoever finishes it quicker. However, Sledge did say that he thinks he can do 12 tacos in 5 minutes. I tried 12 tacos. I'm not going to say how far I got, but I will say that I did not finish 12 in 5 minutes. That's what I was going for.
God, I'm tempted to try it. I think
Chris
I could do it.
Utterly failed at that. Utterly failed.
And it's in their Taco Bell tacos, right?
They are
Correct.
soft Taco Bell.
Yeah, the soft tacos would make it difficult.
The hard tacos, it's too much of a choking hazard.
I think now, how did you guys do it? Because I feel like I would take 2 tacos and roll them and eat 2 at once.
Oh, I did not try that. That is a good idea.
I think that might be the truth in the way there, because then you're lowering it to 6 tacos. Their tacos aren't too full.
No,
anyway.
But that's a lot of bread right there. That's the other thing.
It is a lot of bread.
I will say that when I was doing it, I was downing each taco in about 3 bites.
The tortilla is the trouble. Yeah, I agree with that.
Accurate. Yeah.
I don't eat fast. I eat a lot. I don't eat fast.
I don't eat fast either. Like, I mean,
this is why maybe I should be the representative.
I know. That's
you boys have eaten with me. I eat
Kramer.
Well, okay. No. This man next to me. I think he's next to me. Where is he on the screen? Is he next to me?
I'm next to you. Okay.
Jimmy, I have to literally tell him to slow down when he's eating wherever we go. Yep, we will go eat the most delicious cheeseburger you can ever find, and I take my first bite and I look up and he has 2 bites left, and I'll be like, dude, slow down. He ate. We go to the Bacon Brothers, a local place around here, and they have this amazing sandwich. Amazing sandwich, and it's got a duck egg on it, delicious, and he's eating it, and I swear to you, it took 3 bites for him to finish a sandwich that was it's as big as my face.
It was more than 3 bites. He just saw me take 3 bites. Because in between him going down to eat something, I'd be like,
this is terrible.
Oh, yeah, that's you.
That's my story.
Oh, this is nasty. This thing's all burnt.
But yes, I would probably say Jimmy is our best bet to win the contest, then Captain Chuckles, then Creamy Kramer, and I am way back in last place because if there's no time limit, I will eat more than anybody. If there's a time limit, I will lose to everyone.
So they're going to do a rematch. They're going to do 12 tacos. I am very interested to see the time at which, because we're thinking Sledge is going to do it faster, possibly. He's talking a big game about that.
Well, he did.
He's defending.
He did kick Alex Zane's ass. However, Alex he admittedly said that he was not prepared.
Yeah.
And that this time he will be prepared.
Do you in the chat think that Jimmy could eat 12 tacos in 5 minutes.
I know somebody in chat, so we'll see what she
And
says.
and that's what I'm waiting for. Now, to give you reference point, Chuck ate 8.
I ate 8.
And I could he? Probably. Should he?
Oh man,
I did.
that's
I
good. It's good as content though.
Vintage has no faith. Vintage has no faith.
Going with a no.
Flat out no.
I ate 8 in 5 minutes, and
I had 4.
can tell you that
I couldn't even do 1 a minute. The wife, 5. She beat me.
She tried it too?
Yep, she beat me.
Yeah, dude, it was tough. 8 was tough, but I don't know.
It's rough.
I might have to try Jimmy's attempt at doing 2 at a time.
Are they normal tacos or are they taco supremes or does it not matter?
They are normal tacos.
They have to be normal tacos?
Well, I mean, if you want to add all the other extra shit on it, you can.
It's just sour cream. That's the only thing that it adds, right?
But I mean, all they did was the beef, the lettuce, and
I mean, as accurate as that statement is.
That's why I was bringing it up. It also makes it taste a little bit better, I think, personally.
True.
What are you tasting? You're trying to eat 12 tacos in 5 minutes. Who cares what you taste?
That is true.
And I've seen you eat. How do you taste anything?
And you're allowed to have all these unwrapped, like on a plate in front of you?
That's what I did. Because there's no way you'd be able to do it if you had to
that's what
everything.
Sledge did that too. Sledge had them unwrapped, and then Zane came and unwrapped them so they were even.
Yeah.
So no tomatoes. Okay. Interesting.
Well, we'll talk to Sledge. Sledge, okay, so if you guys, again, Sledge is 3 p.m. Eastern. Check out Sledge. I know, Vintage, you've already checked out Sledge. I believe the guest tomorrow is Wednesday is the motivational speaker, right? Yes, Quinn McKay.
Wednesday.
Quinn McKay tomorrow. Quinn McKay of Ring of Honor is on tomorrow.
Isn't Wednesday the double episode?
Maybe. I know for...
No, Wednesday is definitely...
Just talk over me.
Lie, Drake.
Now you're thinking of Zicky Dice.
Oh, man, I'm totally getting mixed up.
Another friend of the podcast. So tomorrow on Sledge at 3 p.m. Eastern, you will see Quinn McKay of Ring of Honor. She's excellent, very good announcer and interviewer backstage, and she does a lot of their YouTube videos and whatnot. Yes, Chuck, Zicky Dice is another friend that we have, and he has Eli Drake, coming on this week.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you.
So that's a big one to watch too.
Got a thunderstorm outside there,
What the hell
bud?
was that?
I hope so.
Was that a printer? Sounded like a printer.
Did anybody else just hear that?
Does that sound like a printer? Oh my gosh.
I don't know what that was, but it was loud.
It was probably a thunderstorm.
It was still going too.
Cool. Well, I'm glad that we've got some content coming up.
Yes,
You know,
we got some content. We're working on some things.
We've gone from, doing one thing a week.
Look what that was.
And to really like jump into, 2 streams of content every single week. It's been fun for me. It's been fun because, if you, depending on how long you've been watching or listening to us, like I talk a lot. I can't do interviews. I want to talk. If I do an interview, but what I will do this week at some point, even though it's a little bit against my diet that I'm currently on, I'm going to try 12 tacos. I'm going to see how fast I can do it. And if I can
and we'll let Sledge know. And you can tweet at him.
If I can do it in 5 minutes, or if I can do it under 5 minutes or something like that, I almost think I can do it in under 5 minutes.
Oh, man, you're crazy.
The chat wants to make sure you don't die.
I will not die.
Don't die.
I've eaten far more than that before in my life. It's easy to eat that much when you eat as fast as I do, because I won't even feel that I'm getting full until I'm already done.
So
So
fast.
the real question is can I do it in 5 minutes and do I throw up? Which
I did not time how long it took me to eat the rest, so I didn't even get to that point.
I ended up eating 7 total. I just gave the other 5 to my wife. I ate 3 more after the 5 minutes were up. I refused at one point to go faster. I was like,
My household, my
my
kiddo
tacos.
and my wife would say that I eat too dainty to eat 12 tacos in 5 minutes.
He does do the pinky. Yeah, he was a pinky's up.
I love that Chuck's the dainty one.
I know, right? You would never even think it. Although last night we went over to a friend's house and we had a bushel, which was like 7 dozen crabs. Because we're very close to Maryland and Virginia.
Oh
and
man, that sounds so
man,
good.
it was so good. It was actually my first time like eating crab and like shelling it and picking the meat myself.
I mean, blue crab's fun, man.
So
I enjoy that. I think it's really good. Like, I think that is an event. Like when you dump a bunch of crab out and you have just a bunch of people sitting around a table, like breaking open crab and drinking beer. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
I sent Christopher the photo of the pile of crab on this table. I mean, it was so good. It was so good.
I'm talking to myself in the chat. It's fun.
That's hey, there you go.
I think we got 5 people in the chat today. That's a milestone on Twitch standards. So hey, look at us going.
We have had 5 like pretty much the whole time.
You guys are helping us get to the point where we might actually like be able to tell you, hey, you could subscribe or you could hit the biddy thing or whatever. You
can drop some biddies and then you could have my head pop up and go.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. Once we are allowed to have emotes and stuff, oh, I am so excited. Kramer's working on stuff. This guy's dancing. Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be
another thing
fantastic.
that's going down. Another thing that's going down is that at some point, as I get a little bit of free time, this won't be regularly scheduled, but I'm gonna throw out some votes on Twitter of the very first horror game that I'm going to be playing on stream. And I've got quite a few. I got to go through all my games. I've got quite a few that I've never played before. So
yeah. So if anybody
Christopher wants me to play Rock Band, and I'm like, they don't really want to see a halfway decent person play Rock Band.
I mean, if you dance the whole time like you did earlier, maybe.
Would you guys come and watch Captain Chuckles play Rock Band if he streams Rock Band and does his dance? Would anybody in the chat show up?
I do have fun though, man. I mean, I have a shit ton of songs.
If he dances, if you dance,
if he dances,
absolutely. There you go.
Golly,
there you go.
I would get on just to harass you all the time.
And we got a board game lover. That's right up Big Baby Jimmy's alley.
There you go. I'm gonna come on and play solitaire.
Not as much up my alley as like some of my friends' alley, that's for sure. But yes, and then has to sing Journey.
I think there's only one Journey song that I have in there that's even in the game.
Do you ever run Tabletop Simulator or anything like that to play any board games like online with friends and stuff like that, Vintage?
150 games. Whoa.
Good God.
That's a lot of games.
A lot of games.
I was just talking about playing like Jackbox on here or something. Would be fun if we can get more and more people. But yeah.
That'd be cool.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to put more content out. Obviously, we'll do.
we have 3 interviews taped.
I know you would.
Cards Against Humanity online.
That's fun.
Chuck, tell us about what interviews are already taped and coming soon.
So we got 3 interviews taped. Christopher already gave out the first one on Monday. Cards Against Humanity online would be crazy. The first one is going to be Sledge. That's coming out on Monday, tomorrow. Barring that I get the webpage all set up and whatnot, but it'll be available on YouTube. The week after that, which will be the 10th of August, we will have our first tag team. And if you watched our preview video, you would have seen that it's 4 Minutes of Heat out of Oregon Ricky Gibson and Eddie Pearl. They are awesome guys. I tell you, people, like, when we tape these things, we definitely have fun with everybody that we talk to. Like, it is a lot of fun talking to these guys and the women that we talk to. But there's just something about going back and editing them and just listening and watching the reactions of everybody again is hilarious. So that one's on the 10th. That one is going to be a fun one. Another one that we have taped that I don't know when will come out, but maybe the 17th, is going to be with Lord Crew, a great independent wrestler out of Tennessee, right, Christopher? Or
Kentucky. He actually lives really close to Shane Mercer. He's very good friends with Shane Mercer, one of the alumni of the podcast.
Yep. So that is going to be another one that we have that's ready to come out, and we have a number of interviews that are in the works, and I really wish I could tell you guys who they are, but if you're not one of the bald monkeys, you're not going to know yet. And I'm sorry about that, because some of them are really, really good. We have two the taping this week, Christopher, correct?
2 this week so far. So far 2 this week.
So far 2 this week. I possibly will have a third this week.
That we're very excited about.
Yes. We might even have a fourth this week if a certain person picks up my phone call. We won't name names.
And a fifth this week if we get an email back from somebody who actually had something this weekend.
Yes. So there are a number of interviews that are in the works, in the pike, that are happening, that we are really, really excited to bring to you guys. So hopefully you guys watch and listen and all that good stuff. So you know. By the way,
you know,
if you didn't know,
well,
I had a birthday last week.
Did you not wish happy birthday to Captain Chuckles? Everybody wish happy birthday.
The big 42, yippee-ki-yay, and had a lot of cool interactions with people online. Chris Bay, one of our interviews, sent me a happy birthday. Zicky sent me a happy birthday. Sludge sent me a lot of the people that we talked to. Ryzen, one of our other great guests, sent me a really cool happy birthday. Hell Ryzen. He did not win this weekend. He did not win the SOAR championship, I believe. It was one of the ones he was going up for. So I'm sad about that. But yeah, it was a good birthday. And our little jokester right over here, Christopher, decided that he was going to make a video. We always like to get better when we speak, and better ways to transition into questions. And one of our first things was we both said so. That was our transition into every single question was so what do you think about blah blah blah, you know? And then all of a sudden I had an interview with Kira Hogan from Impact Wrestling. Great person to talk to. Definitely check that out. Check her out on Impact as well. And Christopher goes,
I'm pulling it up, by the way. Keep talking.
You say a lot. And I was like, really? I'm like, I don't know. I have to listen back to it when I edit it. And holy shit. I think at one point in time during one sentence or one phrase, I said, about 14 times. And I literally went through the entire interview taking out all the that I said. Every single one of them, except ones that it kind of made sense. So Christopher thought it would be funny to piece together a short wishing Captain Chuckles happy birthday video and gave 42 knows.
42.
For my birthday.
And here, you know what? Just because you guys are hanging out, I'm going to play it for you right now.
There you go. If Chris can get it to work. and that, what, so, what, that, what,
can't even hear it.
living,
Because I don't have my sound on my Twitch.
just,
Crack it up.
By the way, you can buy that Beard of Doom shirt on TeePublic. Have my face on a T-shirt that you own.
I think he's the only person on the podcast worth having a
Vintage,
face
thanks for stopping
t-shirt
by. Thanks for hanging
Yes,
out,
thank you.
Vintage, thanks for following. We appreciate you hanging out.
It's been a good time.
I
So
hope...
yeah, there were 42
I Chuck, the best part of that was you asking me the next day, how long did it take me to put that together? And it literally took me one sitting of about an hour to find 42 because I could have easily did 142
I bet. I think there were 242 in the Kira Hogan one. And like that,
Wow.
like if we had a Patreon, I would love to put that one up on the Patreon so people can listen
Unedited?
to it and be unedited and be like, people just be like, wow, what in the hell is going on there? I really attribute that to the fact that it was a phone interview and I couldn't see who I was talking to.
Yeah, we don't
And-
like to do phone interviews.
So you were talking to
Yeah.
And-
So
and-
instead of Kiera Hogan, you were like, okay, just pretend like it's a person named
yeah.
So,
And to be honest,
you know.
and to be honest, like, I mean, it sounds, silly to say, but what, did I just do it? I didn't even know.
Booyah.
It sounds silly to say, but that was our first like phone interview, and I was like a tad nervous.
Just a little bit. Just a little
Just
bit
a little
nervous.
I, however, am probably more nervous / intimidated of one of our interviews that we have lined up that is probably taping this week.
You got a big one this week that I think it is the biggest interview we've had, period.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Very
but
intimidated.
it's exciting. We got a lot of exciting stuff coming up, and we're gonna keep hustling. We're building some relationships too. Obviously, I'm on Twitch a lot. I try to pop on as much as I can now. Jimmy's gonna try to pop on if he puts some content out there. Chuck is willing to. If enough of you ask Chuck to dance and play Rock Band, I think he'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, there's some of you that might know that all these interviews, they're filtered through Wrestle Joy, and Wrestle Joy is exactly what it sounds like. It is a site where we get joy out of wrestling. So we try to keep a very positive kind of feel to all that stuff. Not so much these round tables. No. They're
totally different things.
They're meant to have some freakouts. And let me tell you something, for those of you that would just know Chuck through the interviews, this man is good at doing some freakouts sometimes. And he needs them, man. He needs them to survive.
That is
I
true.
think that's another good one for our Patreon. Well, if we ever have a Patreon, that'd be a really good one. The rants that you and I had during the outtakes of the JC Vega interview that premiered this week.
That was a great one.
Yes,
Oh, man.
I for those in the chat, there is some excellent outtakes from all of our interviews.
Mhm.
Even the one premiering tomorrow with Sledge, there are some very good outtakes. It was a 2-hour interview. It came in at. We're not going to show you all 2 hours, but it was a 2-hour interview, breaking our previous record with Chris Bay of 1 hour and 45 minutes. About.
Ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are aware that the whole 2-hour video is already posted to YouTube right now, right?
No, it is unlisted.
Unlisted.
Oh. You sure about that?
Pretty positive.
Why can I see it on my personal account?
Do you have the link?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, is like a specialty link? No,
Or
I don't
if-
think so though. I'm going
or
through my
if-
subscriptions.
Or if you have your are your accounts linked?
I don't think so.
Hey, everyone in the chat, go to the Bald Monkeys YouTube page right now. While you're there, hit subscribe, but also check for us to see if the Sledge interview is live or not. And someone in the chat let me know, because I trust the people in the chat. They'll tell me.
It
I
is
don't-
not.
It is not.
It is not.
Apparently, the Woot says that it's live.
I
What?
can see it. It
Where?
says it was posted a week ago. You see it? Do you see it posted a week ago, Woot? You guys haven't been pushing it at all, so it doesn't have any really any views. It's got like
I don't see it at all on
Well.
mine.
Well, unless there's some cookie or something that's allowing people to see it if they've been to the page or something.
It's possible.
I mean, like, I'm
You know
in and
what?
out of our YouTube.
Go watch it.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
I mean, my videos of Sort By has No Way Out, JC Vega, Shane Mercer, WrestleMania 1.
Do you
And then-
subscribe to our channel, Chuck?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay, just checking.
And then what's
That'd be
what's
hysterical.
coming soon?
Well, guess what, Woot? You can watch it.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is. It's 2 hours. You might want to split it up. It's a long one. It's not really 2 hours. It's not really 2 hours. We have a long intro because we have bumpers. I don't see it in the videos. I see it on the playlist. See? So
Yeah, it's on the
Oh.
playlist, but it's listed as unlisted.
How
So I
does
have
that
it
happen?
listed as unlisted, but I can still see it.
can you play it?
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
Interesting.
that's very interesting.
We'll know for
So
new
it's
ones.
easy enough. Well, you could technically just transfer it over to private.
Yeah.
They're good. But honestly,
Easy enough.
we
Hey,
used
man,
to, we used to care about premieres. We used to care about when we release these. They're out there. If you follow us enough, if you subscribe, you know what? Watch it when it shows up.
Well, that's the whole thing with the Twitch thing. It's like if you watch us when we're on Twitch, you're seeing the podcast that I'm posting on Thursday. So
Unedited.
and I don't really edit it yet at all. It's like just whenever I start it to whenever I finish it, I don't edit it at all. Because why? Why edit it? I from the very beginning, it's so much more of a casual, fun thing to just shoot the shit with your friends. Like, I just have always
should just
been like,
record
why
the-
edit it?
You should just record the Twitch, then you don't have to do anything.
The Twitch is recorded.
Yeah, the Twitch records itself, technically.
I know. You should just post that. Then you don't have to do anything.
No, but the Twitch, the Twitch has other stuff. Like it's smaller and it's got the comments in it, and
Yeah.
this is for the Twitch fans. I see it as this is for the Twitch fans. If they want to go watch the YouTube, they can. I feel like Twitch and YouTube are a little separated, right? Merchandise.
Merchandising.
Do you guys like stickers? Do you guys like stickers in the chat?
Does
We have
anybody want a
stickers.
sticker?
We got stickers.
Anybody want a sticker?
We got
Anybody?
stickers.
Anybody at all?
No, nobody. There's
No?
a delay. I know there's a delay.
There's a little bit of a delay, yeah.
There's always a lag. Latency.
It would be great though if somebody was just like, nobody wants your damn
Yeah,
stickers.
right. Screw you and your stickers.
We got T-shirts. I got T-shirts.
Wait, I really like my hollow sticker. Thanks for the.
It took you that long to figure out who it was.
Oh, I know. who that is.
I know because
I knew it was Sarah from the second it was
she's a good friend, so
She
I
is
saw
an
the name. and I was
excellent
like,
founding member
I'm
of
revealed.
the Monkey Nation.
Yes.
But she
we
has
gotta
a
get her on the
shirt.
podcast at some point.
Oh yeah.
We need to put
Yeah.
her on the round table. Sarah, you want to get on the round table and talk wrestling?
Yeah, I think we actually might have. Yeah, we might have a couple spots for her actually. Well, while we get into some of these new interviews.
You don't want that, she says.
Yes, we do.
Why
Yes, we
would I
do.
ask if I didn't want that?
Yes, we do. We want it.
You know, yeah, I mean, I've actually have random friends that have pushed to try to get Sarah on this podcast. They've been trying for a while.
I'm excited that JC is going to come on with us.
Yeah, and
That's really awesome.
Hopefully.
No, he will.
Fingers. I gotta, yeah.
No, he will. 100% will. JC 100% will, and I can promise anyone who's listening right now that Jay Walker will be a guest on this podcast at some point soon too.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. I will put my reputation on it, and I have zero reputation.
And I'm sure that we could get another one or two of our previous.
Yes.
To come on as well.
Again, we are networking as much as we can. I will say Sledge and Zicky Dice as many times as I can before we sign off.
Watch them.
Zicky did not stream tonight. I was hoping he would.
Nope. But he did apparently cut some content with Mama Dice. And
Mama Dice.
It was outlandish. I loved it. I tweeted back to him. I replied. I said that was the most outlandish thing that I have seen today.
He gave out a bass guitar last week.
Dude, and how many times did it take? How many times did it take for someone to be there?
It took 2 times. Just 2 times someone to be there, but we called out 4 names because we wanted to say who lost. But the first person wasn't in the room.
What I want to know is how much street cred those 4 people had.
A lot.
But 2 of those people, the 2 people that were the one person that was picked, and the second one like literally just came in, like.
But you can gamble.
Week.
You can gamble in these rooms and boost your numbers.
Do you lose your street cred, or do you just not win?
I don't know how Twitch works. I'm an old man. Why are you asking me these questions?
This is accurate.
I am older than you.
Ask the chat.
I am older than you. I'm not chat. How does street cred work?
You're older than me?
Yeah, dumbass.
Old fucking fogies.
I'm the oldest one on the goddamn podcast.
I'm 42. Wait. Goddamn, you're so old.
Oh, that's right. You're 42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what in the hell? Are you playing my
He's playing the video again.
You know, that, you know, if they could see my face right now, they would see how
set up,
living
there, well, don't worry, man. Like, when it's his birthday, you just make a video where he goes, all the sense in the world, all the sense in the world, all the sense in the world.
Buy my t-shirt, T-Public, Beard of Doom, get it.
All the sense in the world.
My favorite one, and that is, living.
Chris always asks me how I'm doing, and right when we start the podcast, I always have to say some weird stuff.
Living.
Oh man.
I promise. I promise next week, anybody that comes onto the Twitch stream, I will pull that edited version, unedited version of the JC Vega chaos that happened during that taping, and play it for everyone on the Twitch stream after the episode of the Roundtable next week. Yes. Because that is good. That is
and
good
it fits
stuff.
Since JC Vega will be on the
Roundtable
next week.
And you know what?
What happened.
JC has never seen this before. Never seen it.
No, he has no idea.
He didn't even see it live.
Nope.
And I'll explain that story next week.
He did watch it, and he thoroughly enjoyed rewatching it back.
Yep. So we have good relationships with everybody we interview, and it's going to be fun to kind of pull them into Jimmy's chaos of Roundtable, because I think some of them have very good good knowledge of wrestling history, and they're willing to speak their mind, and it's going to be fun to see them kind of go head to head.
What I really look forward to is the first time that I get to look at one of these wrestlers and say, well, I mean, you're wrong.
And I can't wait till one of these wrestlers cuts a promo on you. Be excellent. So, well, it's gotten kind of quiet in the chat. I think we're gonna wrap things up. I don't think there's much else to talk about. except merchandise. We already got stickers, T-shirts. We got T-shirts. These are the new T-shirts. Have anybody seen the new T-shirts? I know Jimmy's got one. So these are our new T-shirts that do not have the white. You see the beautiful white behind Chuck there. They do not have the white on the shirt. They show through whatever color. This is our pistachio color merchandise. So we hope to eventually be able to do these ourselves, but
Everybody keep track of Twitter. I'll be throwing out some different things over the course of the next week to try to figure out more content that we're going to be doing on Twitch and the content that's going to be obviously in the next podcast, as I mentioned. We thank everybody for joining us, and everybody have a wonderful night.
Thanks. Oh yes, that was your best work.